The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Thank you very much, Eric, and it's good to be at the Situation Room.
Always a pleasure coming here. This is the most challenging interview panel in Kenya. You guys are very well informed, and as you can see, Charles today, very philosophical.
To be poor in this country is the greatest sin you can commit, not just from a legal perspective, but from life generally. It is very, very skewed.
We've just heard on the floor of Parliament, just most recently, a leader within the ODM saying that sisi ni ng'ombe za baba.
Yep.
Which means that you are willing to be milked dry.
Hapo.
You cannot force me to believe. I'll give way. If it's a land that I'm told to return to you, I will. Okay? Because the court has said so. But I'll continue saying, watu wamenirusha. That's all that I'm doing.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
This is one of the hottest show that we can never miss in the morning, and it's a show that really gives a real situation in the Situation Room.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you guys so much. Nduthai, nice meeting you. Yes. Even beautiful in person more than in photos.
Say that again. Character is like pregnancy. You cannot hide it. You know, people hiding here and there, you know, but after 2-3 months, 5 months, now you see. So that is why the attitude that you were showing us, you're pregnant.
It's like what my grandmother would say. You cannot pickpocket a naked man.
How's that? It's communal, isn't it?
No comment.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
If you go out of this country and come back the same person, then you have a problem. Buy land, 1 million. Put it there for 5 years. What's the purpose?
It'll have increased in value.
No, that's the thing. That's darkness. You know, that's an eclipse. You don't do that.
I hope you don't believe that a hustler is a poor person, or that all hustlers are poor. I've seen that conversation.
Tell us, who is that? So who's a hustler?
Hustler is a person who is making a living through hard work.
Corruption in Kenya is a political accusation. The people who are actually corrupt are not pointed fingers at.
Kenya is not free. Kenya imeshikwa na mateka. It's under siege.
Have you seen that lodge on Nyeri Road? Very high fence. You can't even
windows
sleep inside.
Up near the ceiling.
Yes. And if you walk there at midnight, you see bats the size of cows.
And when it rains, it doesn't rain on that building.
Yes.
When you're at All Saints and it's raining, it doesn't rain on that building.
The things people will believe.
Yeah.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
You tune into Kenya's biggest conversation. My name is Ramanya.
Amen.
So 1 hour is over?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It gets over.
Can you imagine
in 20 minutes.
What the big boys have also done?
I'm very proud of myself.
When you understand about partnership in politics, it's like the way marriage is these days. When you're looking for a wife, you're like, maybe you can help me pay for fees as I pay for the rent.
Why should you have a lioness living in your bedroom? I have to tell you a story. I went for a prayer meeting, which was called for the spouses of candidates for senators and governors. And when I got to the gate, the lady who was the secretary, she refused to. She's telling me, no. Leo tunataka wa mama. Leo ni wa mama. I'm telling her, no. She said, no, sio siku yenu. And I thought, there's a problem here, because if it was a man, but this was a lady.
It will be called First Ladies until you change the name.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
It's early Monday morning, so what you expect with traffic is that it'll be moving, and then at some point it'll start increasing. But at that time, when it starts increasing, we'll be here to tell you about it. As for right now, it is okay. All roads are all right. It's all moving smoothly. Maybe at some point it'll start getting busier, and not maybe, definitely at some point it'll start getting busier, and we will see how it looks like. Thika Superhighway, imagine, is clear as at now. And even Kembu Road is okay as at now.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Good morning and how are you doing? Welcome to Monday. It's the 14th day of October 2024. Hope you had a good weekend. City?
Yes, please.
How are you?
Very well.
Did you have a good weekend?
I did. I had a quiet weekend.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good.
Quiet weekends are good.
Yeah.
It makes Mondays possible. Yep.
Yeah, that's the effect of quiet weekend.
Because in the absence of that, Monday can be very, very hectic.
Mambo inaanza kuwa inachemka haraka.
Baba. Fika Tuesday hata huoni.
It's too fast, too moving. Things are just moving.
See, December is here.
Bwana. Imagine we're already mid-October.
Once you're mid-October, you start thinking in terms of November.
Yeah.
And once you hit November, if you're wise, start thinking of January.
Yep.
Because January, you hit 15th. That December, I don't know what it comes on speed wheels. Finished.
Kabisa. Yeah, it's something like that. Oh yeah, kumbe Lydiah kwa amewasha hii mataa ingine. Ni hii taa ya ndani. Alikuwa amewasha taa ya nje. Okay, now it's looking a bit better. It's better. It's the 14th. You know what happens on the 14th, right? This is the day when April comes and tells us the things about mafuta.
Fellow citizens.
Landed cost. Forex fluctuation. Low, this, the other. Now therefore, for the next 30 days, the price will go like this.
Yep. April are quite consistent with their stories.
But I like that. I always say I like that the fact that we have this price control legislation and formulas in place. I like it. It gives me some sense of stability.
It does.
It does. Ni 190. Okay.
Hakuna mtu anaenda kucheza tu kwa wajua tulisikia 190 lakini vile sisi tumepima hiki kitu ni 200.
Ayezi 190 ayezi. Yeah. No. That one we do not want those kind of stories. Anyway, this famous musician died over the weekend. Princess Julie.
You know what princess?
Bwana.
Kidney failure, according to what we have read. Yes.
That was very sad. Was very sad.
And this follows after Teddy Kalanda.
Yeah.
The founder of them mushrooms also had passed away not very long before then. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, all condolences to the family of Princess Julie and all the fans of Princess Julie. This thing of getting these lenses, Bana City, I'm not getting used to the lenses.
No, you will.
So one thing I noticed is that once you go into lenses, your eyes become dependent on lenses.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, Bana.
Wait, ngoja kidogo.
If you remove your glasses.
Are you talking about lens? Hii miwani or are you talking
lens? Hiyo lens iko ndani ya miwani.
Iko na shida gani?
Once you start using those lenses, now your eyes don't see without the help of the lenses.
You can.
You can. You'll be struggling. You can. But you're struggling.
What you say is true, Eric. What you say is true.
Yeah, before I would.
You're expecting this thing to adjust very quickly. Sindio? Okay. It doesn't adjust very quickly, but it's adjusting. Believe me, what you're feeling now, it's less strenuous than what it was last week. The eye doesn't adjust. It's not like this. The light we have in the studio where you can switch it on and off. It doesn't quite work like that. It's adjusting. It'll adjust. Believe me, it'll adjust.
What? Okay.
It'll adjust. It's just that you're a little impatient.
Yes, I am. Because I'm wondering why I actually have to do this thing.
So you feel you need to use the other glasses that you have?
Yeah. Anyway, let me tell you what we shall be discussing today. So, Gachagwa's impeachment is coming into the Senate from Wednesday, and it will be a very, very, very interesting one to watch. That's what we want to discuss today from various angles. One, we'll look at the legal angle. Two, we'll look at the political angle. Three, we'll look at the religious angle, now that they've all brought in the religion into it. So let's start with the 9 a.m. conversation, the religious angle. Bishop Dr. David Makimei is the head of the Jesus New Life Ministries Church. Ever heard of that one?
I'm hearing of it now, and I'm happy
Jesus
to hear of it.
New Life Ministries, Janelim.
That's all right. Sio ni mzuri?
Yeah, Janelim, not Janaham. Jahanam. Janelim.
Janam is the man of the lake.
Not Janam.
Not Janam.
So,
not Jahannam.
Not Jahannam.
Yes.
This one, the bishop, will be with us at 9 a.m. and let's look at it. So, where we've seen, religious leaders have been trying to go and mediate between the president and the deputy to see whether some resolution can be reached and so on and so forth. We'll hear about that. And then at 8 o'clock, we'll talk to the Secretary General of Ford Kenya, who is the MP for Tongaren constituency, John Chikati. We will look at the National Assembly, the thinking of the National Assembly. Well, the 280 odd members of Parliament who voted for this impeachment, or the 40 who voted against the impeachment, or the one who abstained, were they looking at the real motion that was presented, or were they looking at other things? And also for Kenya, walipewa your 30%. Anyway, he'll come and tell us. John Chikati, 8 a.m. At 7 o'clock, we will be talking to Dr. Martin Olo. He's an advocate and head of public law at Daystar University, Kenya's impeachment playbook. So there have been all these conversations. Okay, if the Senate passes the impeachment motion,
then what?
And he's impeached, the Constitution says the deputy president shall cease to hold office. I have seen some people, including former president of the LSK, saying, even if now he goes to court after that, the Constitution has already cleared. It said shall cease to hold office. Does that mean that he can't go to court?
This is interesting, wouldn't you say? Bless you.
Also, if the president nominates someone and sends that name to Parliament, does that person have to, first of all, get clearance and the nod of all these other institutions? Does the person need to have EACC documents? Does they need to get IEBC to clear them? Who in the IEBC should clear them? And so on and so forth. That is what Dr. Martin Olo will come and take us through. So, we are running late. It's 20 minutes after 6. Let's take a quick look at the weather forecast. And if you're online, you know what to do.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. The weather with SpiceFM.
Wait, a new season city. The sun is rising at 5 a.m. Did you see how beautiful it was?
It is extremely beautiful.
So it's going to be a mostly sunny day in Nairobi, currently at 14, highs of 26. Kakamega, cloudy at 17, highs of 29. Eldoret, cloudy at 12, highs of 24. Mombasa, sunny at 23, highs of 30. Malindi, sunny at 24, highs of 30. Kisumu, mostly cloudy at 20, highs of 29. Nakuru, sunny at 13, highs of 27. Nyeri, sunny at 14, highs of 26. Kampala, mostly cloudy at 17, highs of 28. Lagos, mostly cloudy at 25, highs of 29. Johannesburg, clear skies at 18, highs of 31. Mogadishu, mostly sunny at 25, highs of 31. Addis Ababa, hazy at 14, highs of 21. Dar es Salaam, partly sunny at 24, highs of 30. Kinshasa, cloudy at 25, highs of 30. Paris, cloudy at 11, highs of 21. London, heavy rain at 9, highs of 12. Beijing, sunny at 20, highs of 23. And cloudy in New York, high 16, highs of 22.
Intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
So we shall say hello to the people who are online, because there are several people who are already online. Karibuni sana to the 14th of October. Good morning. Where is Ankidori? Zama tutume salamu. Ankidori is leo. Hajaingia maasubuhi, manake yako kule usiku. Dr. Charles Timothy Muga, Thermos Recipient Award for 2024. Surely, deep state.
Kikombe cha Thermos.
Hi. Kimoni Junior says, good morning. It's a sunny morning in Nairobi. Linus Getonga, good morning. Victor, is it CT or sweetie? Simon Muilu, good morning. Team, it's a new week, guys. Yes, it's a new week. Who else is online? There are very many people. Let me say, Joseph Ondigi, good morning. Francis Ogola, Nyadi Chukunzira. Nyadi Chukunzira. Hey, I'm very much blessed to see you today. Are you, City, Eric?
Yes.
I am very blessed to see you today as well. Thank you very much. Maximilian, good morning, guys. Murima lazima iguzwe tena hii wiki. Oh yeah. Tibbs Muge also says good morning. Karo Nyambura, good morning. Rachel Wanjiro, Agri Momanyi, Johnston Asava, Moses Nyambura, Wairimu, good morning. Robert Mbogo from Mombasa, Christopher Shirao, good morning. Kisi Tukosawa, Christopher Shirao, Dennis Hamisi Akosawa, Apollo Gusto, already tuned into the hottest show. Good morning, guys. Good morning to you, Leo. Good morning, Queen Ifwoma, Eric and City. New week to know how cruel the state can be against its citizenry. Okay. Evan Stabo, good morning, Ndu City, Eric and Nyaboke. Mambo Moto. Yeah, Nyaboke is on leave. It is Lydiah. Say hello to Lydiah, everybody. So, City, let's get straight to the Proverbs. Where are we going to this week?
We, as I mentioned last week, we are in Algeria. We are looking at countries of the Maghreb.
Okay.
Now, some may wonder, this term Maghreb, Kwani, what does it mean? Well, opinions don't really differ on this because it's derived from the Arabic word al-Maghrib, which means the West. And the reference is countries that are west of the Arab world.
All right.
But in an earlier time, it included parts of southern Spain and all the areas of the Andalus. Okay, so it changed over time. But again, when they talk of the West, they are referring to where the sun sets.
Okay.
So that's Algeria, Libya, Morocco. Okay.
Where the sun sets is relative to where you are.
The Arab world. The Arab world. Reference point.
The Arab world.
Yes.
Okay.
Now the thing you must bear in mind is that. When you look at the country that we were talking with, from whence we derived our proverb last week, Morocco, you know, that sea gap between Morocco and Spain is just 14 kilometers.
Up or two.
It's
a hop.
The Strait of Gibraltar. Just a hop. But that's a story for another day. Okay? The Proverbs. Patience is the key to paradise.
Patience is the key to paradise.
Yes.
This is the Algerian proverb.
Yes.
Very good. It's a nice one. Patience.
If you're patient,
it's the key to paradise.
Binguni comes beckoning. If you're impatient,
Jahannam
comes beckoning.
Okay.
Take your pick.
Yep. Sawa, let's look at the headlines in the Standard. On the Standard today, the front page, leaders call for an end to Tana River clashes. There's something that's going on in Tana River, and this is just tribal clashes between who? The pastoralists and the farmers.
Yep.
Man.
Yep. But there's always somebody who's pushing that agenda.
There's always more.
There's always someone pushing that agenda.
Yeah.
Always.
There's always more. And there's somebody who's going after something.
Yep. And there's somebody who benefits from the turmoil. Always.
So an MP and the governor had been arrested. And we've seen, calls for the release of the governor. You cannot just be arresting a governor.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. In fact, forget arresting. And he can even be jailed.
Yeah. Okay. We'll look at that. 2 billion shillings more for cheap fertilizer. Allah. what Trump thinks of the economy, not ours, but America's economy. Gachagwa's moment of truth draws closer. Deputy President seems to have given up on the impeachment process in the Senate as he seeks reprieve from the courts. And then Raila, despite protests, Raila now backs Ruto Adani deal. Opposition boss says the controversial deal could be a game changer as company has delivered in other parts of the world. He says, when I was the Prime Minister, I was introduced to the company by Prime Minister Narendra Modi when he was the Chief Minister of the state of Gujarat. So because I was introduced to that company, it's good company. And because I was introduced to it, then the deals that it's coming to do in Kenya are good. They'll be game changers. Sawa. Yeah. Something big happened in Chicago yesterday, okay?
Huge.
Very, very big. The Chicago Marathon took place, and the winner in the women's race was Ruth Chepngetich, who crossed the finish line to win the 2024 Chicago Marathon's professional women's division, setting a new world record, a time of 2:09.56. The first woman to run under 2 hours 10 minutes. She set a new record. Remember, this is the same place that our guy Kiptum had set a record last year. Oh, man. Missed the guy. So it was a beautiful thing. You know, also, the MD of Kenya Pipeline, what's his name?
Captain Ruto.
Yes. Ruto, this one is not Captain. Captain is one of Kenya, of ports.
I thought you said Kenya Ports.
No, Pipeline.
He's called Joe.
Yeah, Joe Sang.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Sang was among the runners at the Chicago Marathon yesterday. And, he was practicing, he's been practicing for it. One of the things that he's doing with this marathon runs is he's raising money to support needy children in some parts. So, remember what he told us about the Kenya Pipeline is going very, very big on supporting children through education with their CSR campaign. So he is on the front line of that. So one of the things that he's doing is running 42 kilometers in Chicago. As part of just fundraising.
42 kilometers, many.
Mob, bwana. Mob.
Yes. Like running from here, I know it's far.
42 kilometers is
it's far. It's far.
A full marathon. Anyway, that is on the Standard. The Daily Nation. Chepngetich sets new record, career triumphs. Ruth Chepngetich and John Korir led Kenya's charge at this year's Chicago Marathon and dedicated their exploits to Kelvin Kiptum, who set the men's record at the same event last year. Man, Kelvin Kiptum. Okay. Princess Julie Duniambaya hitmaker who drove the HIV/AIDS message home. Benga songbird Princess Julie breathed her last on Saturday, but her song helped save lives by warning people to be cautious and change lifestyles that expose them to infection. Impeachment. It's a make or break week for Gachagua in the battle to save his job. And then there's this one. So, Raila defends Adani deals. It's a small headline in the Daily Nation today. ODM chief Raila Odinga has defended the controversial award of lucrative government contracts to an Indian conglomerate as former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka accused the broad-based cabinet of perpetuating state capture. The main headline in the Daily Nation today, how Adani's entry saw 56 billion shilling rise in health system cost. So apparently in January this year, Safaricom had gone to the Ministry of Health and offered to provide it with an integrated universal health care system and to help implement it over 10 years. Safaricom went there and said, we can do these things for you. We can help you roll it out. We can help you set up the system. We can manage it for you for the next 10 years. Total cost from year 0 to year 10, 48 billion shillings, inclusive of taxes. Guys, the Ministry of Health are like, what? It's possible. Kidogo. Somewhere along the way, the Health Ministry and Safaricom disregarded the initial proposals, went back to the drawing board, enter Adani, and the project cost more than doubles. Some 15 services from the 10th document, and we're looking at them here, where there's serious variation. For example, e-claims system, Safaricom quote in January was 2.1 billion. The consortium quote is 5 billion shillings. Variation, 2.9 billion shillings. Patient portal, It was to cost 1.2 billion shillings. Consortium now makes it cost 1.7 billion shillings. And so on and so forth. Pharmaceutical information system. Safaricom had said, we can run this thing for $1 billion, Bob. Consortium comes and says, what is $1 billion? What is $1 billion? Do you know what health is? Do you know what pharmaceutical is? 2.5 billion.
Kabisa.
Yeah. I mean, go big or go home.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are going big, go big with everything. Even to the price should not just be 48 billion, it should be 104 billion. That's how it went. Tell us about the Star. You have the Star?
I do.
You have the
top
Business
right
Daily?
hand. Yes, I do.
Very good.
I do. Top right hand corner in teal green. Again, the story of the marathon and the record. Chep Ngetich smashes world record, historic 2.10 hours. Okay? Stories on the back page. This is excellent. This is fantastic work. Pension billions. Auditors uncover financial mess. This is a story of how taxpayers could be losing hundreds of millions from irregular payments at the National Treasury Pension Department. Auditors have uncovered. A new audit report shows, for instance, that in the last financial year alone, 2,950 dead pensioners were paid 350 million. Right.
In the last how many years?
In the last financial year alone. Alone.
Within 1 year?
Alone.
Okay.
2,950 dead pensioners were paid 350 million.
So they had died, but the system had not been updated.
Maybe it was updated. That's why they kept being paid.
Okay.
But this is considered to be a problem.
Okay.
You can't pay dead people.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Camry tests new kit for easier diagnosis. Scientists from the Kenya Medical Research Institute are testing a new device that will enable doctors to easily test for TB in children, with the results relayed just 6 minutes. Yani, test 6 minutes,
Wow.
cup, we've got it.
On a child?
Yes, the handheld device called electronic e-nose can sniff out TB in the breath of small children and ending the menace of many going without diagnosis. Sio ni mzuri?
Kabisa.
Yes. Viva Camry.
Kabisa.
Asante.
Kabisa.
Education. MPs lament over 1 million kids out of school in NEP. Northeastern province, that is region, faces a serious human capital challenge and humanitarian nightmare. With almost 1 million children out of school, the region's MPs have said. The lawmakers from the region under the Northeastern Parliamentary Group caucus yesterday said 850,000 children were out of school due to insufficient infrastructure, insecurity, and disasters like floods and drought. This is a major, major problem. Bang in the middle of the paper. DP race narrows down to Wairimu and Kindiki. Says who? Kirinyaga governor said to be a favorite as president looks to appease Central. Okay?
Now it's come down to Wairimu and Kindiki.
Yes.
That is according to those guys.
According to this particular paper.
Okay.
And it's back in the middle of the paper. DP maintains, Ruto maintains silence on Gachagua wars, explains skipping Embu service. Okay? This is a service that the deputy president attended, while the president attended a service at AIC Milimani. Okay? And that was to mark its 30th anniversary yesterday. All right? Sawa sawa?
Sawa.
Business daily. Right. SACCOs beat banks in loan disbursements in 8 months. Savings and credit cooperatives issued more loans than commercial banks in the first 8 months of this year.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Reflecting the choice of customers put off by high interest rates by the latter.
Fantastic.
Banks' 8-month profit jumped to 181 billion amid loan defaults. Commercial banks have posted 11.58% rise in pre-tax profits to 181 billion in the first 8 months of the year, defying the environmental increase in loan defaults and reduced appetite for borrowing.
So they're still making a profit?
They're making a huge profit.
From lending to the government?
Of lending to the government. Yes, core inflation persists, keeps pressure on household budgets. Kenya's core inflation has remained unchanged despite fluctuations in the overall cost of goods and services over the last 18 months, indicating that households are under pressure from high price of consumer items other than fuel and food. bang in the middle of this particular paper, how Gen Z protests finance bill hit KRA collections. Collapse of proposed law created 344 billion budget hole. Poor performance due to private sector shut down.
Very good. Let's take a look at the traffic at 24 minutes to 7. We'll look at these stories in greater detail shortly. Remember, by the way, remember, you can download Loop, the lifestyle app. We said Loop is for lifestyle, L for lifestyle. You go to Apple Play Store, Google Play Store, Apple App Store.
Yes.
Yep. Look for Loop. It's orange in color. It's beautiful. Register. It's a very, very simple way of registration. And then after you've registered, it's like that. You get to enjoy these services at your fingertips. Or if you've already registered, they keep even sending you updates on your email. This is what's happening, Loop, this and the other. And so enjoy your way with Loop. That's the way to go. If you have, you're heading home from the night shift and you're wondering, sasa supermarkets zimefunguliwa. Well, yeah, if you're on Kamakis, just pop into Naivas. Or also, if you're in Utawala, just pop into Naivas. The Naivas Utawala, it's huge. I passed by there on Friday. It's huge. It's 24 hours.
Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Seal the deal every day with the all-in-one plan from Safaricom. Get data, minutes, and SMS all-in-one on-the-go monthly bundle plan from Safaricom. Tune into the Situation Room every Monday to Friday as we unpack the all-in-one monthly plan from Safaricom. Safaricom is for you.
Starting to build up on Thika Superhighway, stretching to Tali and Kiambu Road, stretching past Wamboi Road, coming in towards town. You expect that will be getting busier and busier as we move. Jogoo Road is not bad, only getting busy as you get to towards Kaloleni. But then City Stadium roundabout is actually moving. If you get to Landis Road and then you approach the Wakulima Market area, you'll find it's busy, and you expect it to be busier this time anyway. Now, what's happening on other roads is that Mombasa Road getting towards town is fine. Even North Airport Road heading towards town is all right, it's moving. Ngong Road towards town is okay. We've talked about Thika Road. Langata Road heading towards town is all right. Westlands towards town at ABC Place is fine. James Keshero Road is fine. At Muga Estate is fine. So, not so bad for now.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Now, *544 hash. *544 hash. And then it brings you a suite of options. Pick option number 4, which says go monthly. And then pick option number 1, which says all-in-one. Select the all-in-one package of your choice. All-in-one is a simple way of making your life easier. By buying airtime once, you get data, you get talk minutes, you get SMSs, you get free WhatsApp for 30 days. Safaricom all-in-one package. City. Now, this Adani story. So let's start with, let's go into this one in the nation. So Raila yesterday said, I've been introduced to Adani, and then what happened? So me, when I look at it, I believe that Adani is a good deal. Yeah, okay, sawa. The Nation are telling us on page 10 and page 11 that this is what happened. On January 24th at 3:30 p.m., Boniface Mongania, Safaricom's director in charge of public sector digital transformation, led a team of 7 individuals in prayer at an Afia House boardroom. It was a second negotiation meeting held in a span of 5 days. Safaricom had earlier handed in a technical and financial proposal for the project under a tender the Ministry of Health booked in its budget books for the 2023-2024 financial year, and the meetings were to attempt saving the taxpayers some coins. Litu Wambua, Anthony Lenaira, Ryan Nyotu, Jeremiah Mumo, Michael Dhoita, and Catherine Kimera represented the Ministry of Health. Mr. Mongania and Felix Rop sat on Safaricom's end of the negotiating table. Cliff Ortega, a member of President William Ruto's Council of Economic Advisors, and independent contractor Daniel Mwai also attended the meeting. Following the seemingly fruitful end of the engagement, Safaricom agreed to give discounts on some aspects of an integrated system intended for the government's ambitious UHC plan. For instance, it agreed to lower the cost of providing a drug utilization review system from 2.7 billion shillings to 312 million shillings. This was Safaricom was saying, okay, after this meeting, they were like, so this particular aspect, the drug utilization review system, we had initially quoted 2.7, we can bring it down to 312 million. The government will be billed 3.4 billion for primary healthcare and hospital management information systems, down from 9 billion shillings. In total, Safaricom was to provide the integrated system and help implement it over 10 years for 48.3 billion shillings, including tax and project costs. Having discussed all areas of concern, the committee reminded the bidder, Safaricom, that there should be no compromise on quality of services, connectivity, infrastructure, and end-user devices, and that the specification should remain as per the tender document. The bidder was therefore requested to submit a revised financial proposal based on the negotiations. The proposed total cost for this engagement was 48.3 billion shillings, inclusive of all taxes and cost of funding for a period of 10 years. These are the minutes of that particular meeting that someone at the Daily Nation called Brian Wasuna has in his possession. Meeting of January 24th, when? This year. Documents filed in court by Busia Senator Okoh Mtata on September 30th show that somewhere along the way, the Health Ministry and Safaricom disregarded that initial proposal, negotiations and correspondence before going back to the drawing board. The effect of the fresh start was to push up the project cost by 56 billion shillings, a cost that would ultimately be borne by the taxpayer, despite the complex structure of documents involved in the lucrative deal. Omtata's court papers further show that Safaricom and its partners, Apayro Limited and Convergence Network Solutions, have proposed that the Health Ministry raise the funds to pay them by levying a service charge on all transactions related to the UHC plan. Chief members, hospitals, making claims after treating patients and other service-related matters will attract service charges to finance the project. If the proposal is accepted, Safaricom did not respond to our emails and follow-up requests on the phone, with its communications teams requesting clarification on the project costs. The telco is also yet to respond to the annexures filed in court. Now, the whole brunt of this is to say that before this whole deal had reached where it has reached now, Safaricom actually had gone and they had said, we can provide a system, we can do the infrastructure, we can give you end-to-end services, and this will be the cost, 48 billion shillings. After negotiations, right? Then, inexplicably, that whole conversation ends and a new conversation begins, and Safaricom is now part of a consortium that has Apayro and Convergence. And this consortium is providing a suite of services that are similar to what Safaricom was to provide alone, but at a cost of 104 billion shillings. And Okoh Mtata has gone to court to ask, explain. How do you explain?
It's not difficult to explain, really. No, it's not difficult to explain at all. The moment you introduce technical jargon into a conversation, most people won't bother to find out what that technical jargon means. So they'll say, okay, that's what it costs. But bottom line is that something of this nature, what Safaricom did was a good thing. They went to the proposal. But the question that always arises with these mega projects is that should they not be subjected to a tender? Okay? The only time I would understand single sourcing and I would understand the sense it makes is if whatever is being required is so unique that the person who has been single sourced is the leader in that particular field and there is no question of doubting as to whether they can supply. But if you're talking about system that is similar to the one NHIF had, Safaricom can provide it. So can there are other entities in the country that can provide the same system. Yes, it's not just Safaricom. There are people who are not Safaricom, but they understand how this system works and they understand. Well, let me start by them understanding how the NHIF system worked. And it's a question of not duplicating, but upgrading what was there so that you include other facets that perhaps NHIF did not have. Right? All these things would not create such a hoo-ha if there was an element of transparency to it. But one moment you're sitting quietly, living in Kenya, and then you're hit with something, and before you can think again, something else has come. Before you can think again, something else has come.
Yeah.
And what makes it questionable is that it is the same company.
Yeah.
They are in healthcare.
Yeah.
They want to give us new pylons for Ketraco.
Yeah.
They want to build us a new airport, and you're asking, just stop. Why is this one company suddenly here to do all these things for us?
Everything is them.
Yes.
All of them PPP.
Yes. All of them PPP. And then the number of years that we have, or the number of years that they've been given to do these things, it's an entire generation. Yes. If there were more answers to these questions, then perhaps we'd lessen the questions we are asking. But every time a question is asked, the answer that is provided or is put across is insufficient, so more questions arise. Why is it costing more all of a sudden?
Yep. Medical Services PS Harry Kimtai said in an interview with the Daily Nation that the project scope was expanded. Okay.
From what to what?
From what initially Safaricom had proposed to what they were doing, hence the steep cost. For example, because we were to bring in other government agencies that are part of the health industry. For example, specifically, let me say the PPB. Okay? Pharmacy and Poisons Board. Therefore, we needed to install the track and trace, meaning that we are going to support that institution in digitizing their systems for all the drugs that are manufactured locally or imported. So for that, we need to have what's called a track and trace. So we're going to have now the Pharmacy and Poisons Board in part of this system. Any drug that is being dispensed at a pharmacy will have to track back to Pharmacy and Poisons Board. Is this a drug that has been licensed by PPB in the country, whether it's locally manufactured or not? So no, una link na Pharmacy and Poisons Board pande ile ingine. No. That's good.
Why are they waiting for questions to arise for them to explain?
We need to know where the drugs are produced, the quality of these drugs, and Kenyans who are consuming them should be able to trace any challenges in terms of quality and production. In case of anything going wrong, it can be stopped at any stage and recalled. Right? So we'll have this system is not just like a small system. This is a robust system. This one, nobody else in the world will have this kind of system. Like Moses Kuria told us. No one else. Because you go to hospital like this, you walk in like this. Your name, CT. The last time CT was in hospital, which hospital was he in? Which doctor saw him? What was, how long did he stay in hospital? Was he admitted? What kind of treatment did he get? All these details, not anybody, but depending on who wants to get that information, they can get it. Okay? What kind of prescription did you get? Did you take the medication? This and the other. So they can trace back and say, since CT started taking this particular drug, he has complained of things going this way. Could it be that he is reacting to this particular drug? Upon a cheza bana.
The uniqueness of the system, as was put across by one Moses Kuria, is not difficult to understand. The questions that we asked here were not even as complex as this system that we are being told. No. We asked very simple questions. We simply said, we understand what you're saying, but there was this small matter of piloting what we already had, because when you bring in Poisons Pharmacy Board, you are plugging into the system. That's essentially what you're doing.
Yeah.
And the question, even before you plug in, I would like to ask you, so what sort of system do they have? And any other entity that you want to plug into this system, again, you want to ask, are you saying that plugging in costs that amount of money, even if you're upgrading their system for it to be compatible with this one? But to put that aside, at the end of all these activities, there's a human being somewhere who wants healthcare. And we want to ensure that this system works. We asked, have we piloted this thing so that we can see how it works? Before all these plugins and what have you. Have you? Because it's really not complicated.
We'll be piloting as we go. It's 10 years. By the time we're in year 9, all pilots will be complete.
By the time we're in year 9, we're going to need a new system. which will cost them like 4 times what this one is costing. Okay.
The interesting bit here is that in this health, there's Adani, all right? Because of Apero Limited, the largest shareholder in this Safaricom consortium. Safaricom is just a small baby, Safaricom-led consortium. Safaricom-led and they're a minority. So the largest shareholder in the Safaricom consortium is Apero, which has business links to the Adani Group, the Indian conglomerate that has sparked controversy bagging lucrative tenders in Kenya. The Abu Dhabi firm owns 59.55% stake in the consortium. Safaricom has 22.5%. Convergence has 17%. Apero is a subsidiary of Abu Dhabi-based investment firm Sirius International Holdings. Sirius is a subsidiary of International Holdings Limited, creating a web of companies that make it hard to track the beneficial owners. But Adani wako wapi? Hapo ndani. And this is where Raila comes and says, you know what, me, I have heard of Adani. Adani is not new to me. I've heard of Adani. I went to India. Modi introduced me to Adani. I've met them. The Adani Group, I think what we should be looking at is, can they actually help us? We must change the way we address our planned PPPs if we are to protect the current positioning of Kenya as the most profitable and reliable destination for PPP programs. At the same time, ensure that the interests of the people of Kenya are protected.
The back and forth is good. And that the former Prime Minister has weighed into this conversation is also good. It means we're now having a national dialogue over this matter. The truth of the matter is that we have very clearly laid down procedures as to how we procure all these things, okay? And if that isn't the question that is being raised, let's start off with NHIF, okay?
Yeah.
What was it about the NHIF that could not be upgraded to ensure that it provides exactly what we are saying we need now?
It had too many leakages. That NHIF thing.
The system doesn't have leakages. It's human beings
that
who
NHIF
consort
thing had
to
too
ensure.
many bugs.
The moment, and the same human beings, if not different ones, are going to be employed with this spanking new system. And if it's a spanking new system, it means we are going to be less familiar with it. So by the time we're familiar with it, we'll come up and say again, you know, this new system, why? We thought NHIF had loopholes. Wow. This one. Hey. But I don't know what we were thinking when we got into this one. Anyway, this is where we are. Let the discussions continue.
I'm seeing people saying, are you surprised that Raila would support Adani?
Well, they have to say it. You see, the thing is, before Narendra Modi became the Indian president.
Prime Minister.
That's the president. Nobody knew of Adani. There are those who would argue that Adani is Narendra Modi creation. And Narendra Modi and Raila have been friends for a very long time. From the time the man was chief minister of Gujarat, where he was chief minister for like 12 years. Okay, so Adani arguably is a Narendra Modi creation. So if Narendra Modi is Raila's friend, when he says he is not about Adani, it is true. It's not difficult to connect. But that aside, of all the companies in the world that provide these services, so we are being told Adani is the one who is best positioned to do this better than everybody else.
Yeah. I think the question is whether Raila knows Adani or not, that's not an issue. Or whether Raila believes that Adani can do the job. That's really not the issue. In any other day, Raila Odinga would have asked the questions that are in the public domain. Has due process been followed? Has there been transparency in the awarding of this or in the dealings with this particular company? Any other day, that's a question that Raila would be asking. But this is not any other day, is it?
We are familiar with Raila asking questions about these things. But in this one, as you say correctly, he is making a statement, not asking a question. We are the ones who are asking the questions, and he's responding by making a statement.
Yeah.
Okay? But let the debate continue. Let the discussions continue. Because really, in all honesty, Adani has completed very, very many huge major projects. It's not they're not new kids on the block. No. They've worked in Australia, they've done huge projects in Goa, they've done in India. That is not in doubt. Are they the best placed to provide what it is that we require at the cost? If we're to take this cost and ask, is there any other company in the world that can provide this particular service? And what is it that you would charge us for this service? Yes.
So it just comes down to the process. They could be the best placed. It's fine. But what is the process that has been taken? Has the due process been followed? Right? Has due process been followed? Have we looked at our laws and said, at this particular point, a decision was made to go single sourcing, or this is a decision, this was a justification, and that's how Adani entered the room, and then the conversations continued. Because those are the questions, by the way. If it's just clear that this was all, and people can see this, everybody was acting in the best interest of the country, fine. But as long as there's that doubt, because why is there doubt? The doubt is, are there people who are doing these things just so they can make money at the taxpayer's expense? That's the bottom line. This whole thing is not whether Adani can build an airport or not, or whether they can put up a pylon and carry electricity or not. That's not it.
Because there's evidence that they can. But the question here is, again, the thing about due process, once the element of doubt enters our conversation, and it is buttressed and it is supported by unclear processes. So even if something were inherently okay, we will question it day and night until the cows come home because we lack clarity.
That's it. That's it. And you cannot dismiss that and say, wacheni kuleta siasa kwa hii kitu.
Well, lazima tulete siasa. If the discussion is about siasa, then lazima tulete siasa kidogo. Who's going to pay back this debt? We've already seen monies that were taken before, and we are seeing the stranglehold that the repayments have on us. When they're taken, it's a happy holiday na sherehe nyingi sana. Then somebody goes and takes a 10-year loan. Man, 10 year ends quickly. Before you know, 10 years have ended, and you're being told that money that you borrowed, and you're thinking, which one? And you're being told, you remember you borrowed money to do A, B, C, D. Okay, now we would like you to pay. Okay, enough said about Adani. Enough said about what this health system is going to look like. Right.
In a minute, let me tell you about what's happening in Tana River. Muslim leaders yesterday were calling on President Ruto to intervene and put an end to the ongoing clashes, which have reportedly claimed 19 lives so far. They're also urging local leaders to avoid inflaming tensions, warning that it would only worsen the situation. People are dying in Tana River, and we appeal to the president to take decisive action. There is no security in most areas, and more lives were lost in Meti, near Bura. We request increased security presence. They also called for intensified patrols. Last week, Interior CS Kithure Kindiki declared 12 locations in that county disturbed and dangerous. This notice takes effect on October 11th for a period of 30 days and may at any time be withdrawn or extended for such further period as the CS may direct by notice in the Gazette. The worst affected areas are Bangale, Tana North sub-counties. These include Badong, Madogo, Areri, Saka, Sala, Mororo, Mbalambala, locations in Bangale and Hirimani, Hosingo, Dukanotu, Chwele, Nanihi, and Bura locations in Tana North. There's something that's going on in Tana River, and my goodness, I just expect that the government is going to do something immediately to end it. Anyway, time for the news. Let's continue the conversations shortly at 7 a.m.
Spice up your life.
It's now 7 o'clock with Safaricom. Go monthly with an all-in-one bundle and enjoy convenience and value with Safaricom. For just 2,000 bob a month, enjoy 17 GB data, 1,000 minutes, 2,000 SMSs, and free WhatsApp. Go monthly. Dial star 544 hash and select Go monthly. Safaricom is for you.
Good morning. This is the news. Why I'm Leah. Ubaga. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's legal team, stewarded by Senior Counsel Paul Mwite, will today convince High Court Judge Chacha Mwite that his impeachment was based on unsupported allegations, hearsay and lies. Gachagua says the charges he was impeached with did not meet the constitutional threshold to warrant his removal from office. The Deputy President wants the upper house barred from undertaking his trial in the plenary sessions scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday. He has expressed confidence in the judiciary in handling the matter.
Tungeuliza uamuzi wa raia uheshimike, sababu raia wanapiga kura miaka 5 na ni mzuri kuheshimu uamuzi wa nini, lakini sisi tuna imani kubwa sana na mahakama zetu. Our judiciary is very professional and I have no doubt in my mind that our eminent judges will protect and uphold the constitution, the rule of law, and always make sure that the will of the people is sovereign. Na tukiwa, that is the way a good country runs. So watu wa Kenya wako na imani sana, and they have faith that our courts of law will protect and uphold our constitution, and most importantly, always protect the will of the people, because the people are supreme.
This will be Gachagua's 24th attempt, either directly or through proxies in court, to stop his removal from office, with other efforts proving futile. Senate is set to commence impeachment proceedings against Kericho County Governor Eric Mutai this morning. The senators will be tasked with determining the validity of various charges brought against Governor Mutai, including gross violations of the Constitution, abuse of office and gross misconduct. The two-day session will kick off with a pre-hearing meeting for senators in a closed session from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., followed by the reading of charges and opening statements by both parties. The County Assembly of Kericho will present its case, detailing allegations of gross violation of the Constitution, including accusations of misappropriation of county revenue and failure to automate revenue collection systems, resulting in significant financial losses for the county. Thereafter, Mutai will also be given a chance, either personally or through his lawyers, to defend himself against the allegations. Tomorrow, senators will vote to uphold or reject the County Assembly's motion for the removal of Mutai from office by impeachment. Now, Kenyans have termed ODM leader Raila Odinga's decision to endorse the controversial Adani JKIA deal as President William Ruto being able to put him in his pocket. Taking to Twitter, or X, a Kenyan known as the government critic referred to Raila as those dancers who never know when to exit the stage. He further said that Odinga has soiled his legacy by continuously cutting deals with criminals, shielding corruption and chasing his greed, adding that he'll retire a very shameful man. This even comes as Raila said the ongoing energy and airport projects present a critical test that could make or break Kenya's ability to compete in the field of infrastructure development for the considerable period.
And therefore what I'm trying to say is not to try to ostracize PPP as a concept. It's a concept that has worked very well around the world. And I'm only saying that there needs to be transparency in dealing with these issues. Otherwise, you're likely to try to condemn very reputable companies. As we see stories like Adani Gate. Adani company conglomerate is worth over $200 billion. It cannot be an Adani Gate. Deal with the issues as they are. If some people have made mistakes, let them own up that they made some mistakes. But do not begin to condemn innocent companies who are basically doing normal commercial transactions.
Elsewhere, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, DAP-K's Eugene Wamalwa and Jubilee's Jeremiah Kioni have vowed not to allow the country to be auctioned.
2 days ago, even with the overwhelming public resistance, the broad-based government went ahead to sign another 95 billion energy deal with the Kenya Electricity Transmission Company KETRACO and Adani for another 30 years.
That's the news wire. I'm Leah Obaga.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
All right, it's starting to look somehow, like this, like that. James Gishuru Road coming out of ABC Place is getting busy. Westlands heading towards town at Muga Green Estate is getting busy. Thika Superhighway is getting busy. It's stretching now all the way to Outer Ring Road Junction. That's at Allsops coming towards town. Kiambu Road is going all the way to the DCI headquarters. Yep. So we are at that moment. And then Jogoo Road heading towards town is also busy. Makadara into City Stadium Roundabout, into Landis Road, it's getting busy. Mombasa Road into town is busy at Imara Daima, coming all the way to General Motors. And then after that, it clears a bit. North Airport Road heading towards town is busy. And this is after Outer Ring coming towards Mombasa Road at Cabana's Overpass. It gets very busy there. Itself, Donholm and Outer Ring Road and Manyanja Road are looking quite busy for now. So you expect to see what you are seeing right now. Juja Road is also busy. Langata Road heading towards town is busy. So is Ngong Road coming towards town. It's starting to pick up. It's a Monday morning.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
8 minutes after 7. How are you doing? Happy Monday. Welcome to the second hour of Kenya's biggest conversation. Welcome to a new week. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is The Situation Room. It's Eric and CT. Ndu is still in Nigeria, celebrating the coronation of her uncle, who is now a king of somewhere, one place in Nigeria. Right? She'll be back soon. CT, you know about the Aga Khan University Hospital's home care program?
I do.
Tell us about it.
Well, the Aga Khan University Hospital did the one thing that anyone who claims to have a keen interest in the welfare and the health care of the citizens of this country would do. It opened 53 other branches, which means the services that the Aga Khan University Hospital offers is now diversified in all these 53 branches.
Indeed. And then there's also something more that they've done.
Yes.
They say that you don't have to be admitted, to stay admitted in hospital.
No.
You can go to hospital, you can get admitted, and then you can go and recuperate from home.
Yes.
They will offer you home care,
Yes.
home-based care.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So they can send doctors to come and visit you from home. They can send nurses to come and see you from home. They can send prescriptions to come, if it's physiotherapy
delivered
that
to
you need,
you, yes.
right? If it's a physiotherapist that you need, can come to your home, right? So all you need to do is just say, okay, I am still under the care of the Aga Khan University Hospital, but I'm just at home.
Yes.
When you're at home, you are there, you're with your family, you're getting the care that you need, the love from your family and loved ones, but also the Aga Khan people are coming to visit you. More than that, they say you can also get your tests done at home. So they'll send a mobile lab to come to your place. It'll take your blood samples, stool samples, and other samples, and take them back to the lab, do the tests. Once the results are out, the results are sent to you electronically, and they're also available on your patient's portal, which means that you don't have to actually come out of home, go all the way to the hospital just to do those tests. I come for a blood test. I've come to do kupima pressure. I've come in. They'll come and do it from home. And when the doctor comes to visit you, he'll come with your records, and you also have them on your email. So he'll come with the records and say, so from the test that we did last week, or we did the day before yesterday, this is what we are seeing. This is how you can change your prescription, and so on and so forth. And this lab can be sent to your home free of charge. How's that?
Well, if you're talking about a comprehensive care package, it doesn't get better than this.
That's a big one.
Yes.
That's a very big one. Because many people just spend too many days in hospital and they're feeling, maybe I don't have to be here because I'm waiting for the doctor's rounds, which will come after every 24 hours. I don't have to be here. I don't have to be here if the doctor can actually come and find me at home.
And there are those who say that people recuperate much faster and better when they are in their own comfortable environment and in the company of those they know love and care for them.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Indeed. That's the good thing about what the Aga Khan University Hospital has done. Safaricom Home Fiber allows you, when you're at home and you're recuperating and your test results have been sent and you want to access them on your devices, whether it's your laptop, your mobile device, your tablet, your phone, you have Wi-Fi at home. You have internet connectivity at home. Courtesy of Safaricom Home Fiber. Sindio?
My friend, the things that it offers you, it's not just service, much faster. Everything that you do at a much, much faster speed than you previously were involved in. Whether you're renewing the package that you had bought or whether you are a new entrant, the service is the same. The benefits are the same. Yes.
It's a big thing.
No, it's a huge thing, actually.
It's a very big thing.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll soon be joined by Dr. Adam Zolo. He's an advocate and also head of public law at Desta University. We'll be looking at the laws around impeachment, particularly as the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment goes to the Senate. Also today, the impeachment of the Kericho Governor, Dr. Eric Mutai, begins. The fate of Kericho Governor Eric Mutai is in the hands of senators as the upper house is set to either uphold or throw out his impeachment by the county assembly. The Senate will have a special sitting today when it will have a pre-hearing conference with MCAs who will present their evidence to support the impeachment motion against the embattled governor. Dr. Mutai will then appear before the Senate tomorrow, during which he'll have an opportunity to defend himself against the accusations raised against him. Then the senators will vote to make a decision on whether to uphold or dismiss this impeachment. This is yet another impeachment of a governor. Where? In the Senate. Now, we've seen several other governors who've gone to the Senate. Several accusations before, in cases of impeachment before, gone to the Senate, Senate listens and Senate dismisses, or Senate listens and Senate upholds and therefore goes ahead to impeach a governor. What are the accusations that the Kericho governor is facing? Number one, Eric Mutai was impeached by the county assembly, accused of indecent and unnatural sexual behavior and intimidation and harassment of junior officers. Jesus, man, that's a bad count. A petition submitted by Sigei Ward MCA Kiprotich Regon is 15 pages long. Complainants accuse the governor of unconsented sexual activities, victims reportedly willing to testify in camera to protect their identities. Mutai's actions allegedly violated Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Accusations were framed under the Leadership of and Integrity Act. He did not attend the impeachment session, but was represented by his legal team in the Kericho County Assembly. The Senate will hear the case today and tomorrow. Now, this sets a stage for what then we see on Wednesday when we get into the impeachment of the deputy president. There have been several cases where the Senate has upheld impeachment. We know of Mike Sonko, Ferdinand Waitito, Kawira Mwangaza. Okay? Former county bosses Martin Wambora of Embu, Paul Chepkonyi of Kericho, Mwangi Wairimu of Murang'a, the late Derito Gachagua of Nyeri, Anne Waiguru of Kirinyaga, Mohammed Abdi of Wajir, Granton Samboja of Taita Taveta have also faced impeachment proceedings since inception of devolution. Ambora was the first governor to face impeachment process in 2014, with Embu County Assembly impeaching him twice. The Senate upheld the second impeachment, only for the Court of Appeal to give him in 2015, to save him in 2015, allowing him to complete his first term. He got re-elected for the second term and even became the chairman of the Council of Governors. And he ran the county for 2 terms. Professor Chepkonyi was the Kericho governor. He had been impeached in 2014. He survived after an 11-member special Senate committee cleared all the charges. Mwangi Wairimu was impeached in 2015, but the motion did not pass in the Senate. A similar reprieve for Samboja, who was saved in 2019. The late Derito Gachagua survived an impeachment in September 2016 after senators dismissed all the charges against him. Anne Waiguru, who's currently serving second term in office, had been impeached in 2020 by MCAs, but the Senate cleared her charges. She was later re-elected and served as the chairperson of the Council of Governors. So as you look at all these things, which is among the questions that we'll be having a conversation with Wakili Olo when he comes here, the Senate can uphold the impeachment. Senate can actually impeach. But the matter going to court could end up there.
Yes, it can.
And the courts can basically decide this is...
But if you look at what the courts normally deliberate on, it is the process. Not the impeachment. The process that led to the impeachment. Because from everything that I've read and heard, once an impeachment has been pronounced, it has been pronounced. So the courts can't go and say, this impeachment didn't work. But what they can talk about is the process that actually led to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if the team of lawyers, for instance, who are now representing our deputy president, can poke holes in the process, sufficient to actually convince the judge, what it then will mean that if the judge is convinced, the government will probably go to the Court of Appeal or whoever it is. This one is going to be there for the long haul. It's not going to end with the judge of the High Court. No.
It'll just continue and continue.
It'll continue. This one will go up until, if that's the process, it'll most probably get to the Supreme Court.
But why?
Everything that I hear the deputy president speaking about amounts to one thing. Why am I the one being picked on?
So it's not whether you don't think he's saying, I am not
guilty.
I'm not guilty.
It would be foolhardy for him to admit any form of guilt if in his mind he has not done anything wrong. But the point is, those who have accused him have also gone a step further and attempted to provide evidence for what it is that they're accusing him. Now, these things have to be disputed and found to fall short of any threshold that somebody may claim to have met.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, we are talking about a Kenyan politician and the Kenyan landscape, okay? Where good business, according to people who are in politics, is doing deals. Doing deals often means ensuring that monies that are intended for development either do not go towards the development, or if they do, they cost many, many times more what they should have cost before. And the excess money, well, where that money goes to is, your guess is as good as mine. Now, if this is how business has been conducted, and it's something that has been accepted, to those who have accepted it, it can't be wrong in their eyes. And why it can't be wrong is because they are not the only ones who are involved in these things. So if indeed you're saying that what they have done is wrong, then why don't we just include everybody who is involved? So the statement is a statement of truth when I say, I am not the only one who is involved in these things. So if indeed what I've done or what you say I have done meets the threshold that requires this impeachment, then I think let's just impeach everybody to whom we can point a similar finger. But that is talking about the entire political class that we have in this country.
That's the unfortunate bit, that the impeachment is a political process.
Yes, it is.
That's the unfortunate bit of it. And the position was upheld by courts when they said it's a political process, yes. Because the political process is, people are meeting their own things.
Yes, they are.
There are those who want to remove the deputy president because they think he's arrogant. There are those who want to remove him because they think he was a stumbling block, or whether he was blocking their way into something.
Yes.
There are those who want to remove him because, they feel that he wasn't serving the boss well, or all these things. Yeah. None of which is an accusation that is actually on paper here, right?
No. But they have to craft whatever is on paper to sort of sound that it is something that would warrant an impeachment. Yes.
And in the end, the entire country is now being treated into some funny, dance here. The bottom line is, just like the people many of them who turned up for the public hearings, what they were saying is we want clarity on UHC.
Yes.
We want clarity on this matter of Adani, JKIA. We want clarity on those matters.
We want clarity on the cost of living.
We want clarity. We want our services.
Yes.
We want services. If you're taking a case to court because you think that this person has actually not performed their job, that is fine. But if you're taking this matter up because you feel that, this guy, I need him to, this and the other, that's just wasting public time. And the political class will dance into this. They'll dance into this because it plays two things. It does one good thing, which is it distracts the attention of the country from matters that were there. We move away from, we are not really concentrating on what's working at UHC, what's not, what's working with the rollout of Chief Shah, what's not. Now the thing is about, the Senate. What's the Senate going to do? Where is the Deputy President today? Is the President talking? What is Oscar Sudi recording a video? What is Oscar Sudi's latest video saying? What has he said now? This is where now they're trying to focus us. But what really does it matter?
Well, the Wananchi spoke clearly and said what it is that matters to them. Because questions that were being asked, we understand everything you said. How will it change or how will it affect what we consider to be the fundamental issues that are of concern to us? How will this action change those? It's a question that was asked right across the country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are many questions that we keep asking ourselves.
Yes. But you see, those questions will not stop being asked. And that's why I say that with this particular process of impeachment, our political class have opened themselves up to things that they will wish they had not done. This process where 208 people have said this guy be impeached.
Yes.
My friend, by the time this thing is, if I may use a Swahili word, chambuad, and looked at in great details and broken down, there are many people who will rue the day when this entire process was began. Yes.
That's indeed true. That's indeed very, very true, on what normally happens and what you see. Our guest has arrived. Some people have seen him being walked into the studio. Dr. Adam Zolo is Dr. Martin. Pole bwana. Nataka kuangusha wewe asubuhi mapema namna hii. Dr. Martin Olo is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and he is head of public law at State University. Good morning.
Morning, Eric.
How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. And I'm very sorry that I've run late.
What has happened?
I just miscalculated. I don't want to blame anybody else except myself. Because I should have done better calculation.
And then you got caught up in traffic.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Gridlock.
You're caught up in gridlock.
Gridlock, so, yeah.
Where is a gridlock? I'm about to tell people about traffic update. Where did you find it?
This was just before you get into the bypass from the current side. But I think it is that time of the build-up, the big lorries and whatnot. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it should be okay now.
Hapana jali. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Siti, give Wakili the day is a proverb.
Yes, our proverbs for this week, last week and the coming weeks will be from the region that we refer to as the Maghreb region. We listened to proverbs from the Kingdom of Morocco.
Yeah.
This week we are listening to proverbs from the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. Algeria has a very interesting history, especially when you look at the relationship that Algeria had with France. Very, very interesting. It was a province of France, and it was believed it was just part of France, not just another country, part of. And there are very many French men, women, families that were essentially Algerians, because essentially they were in France, just the Algerian part of France. But that's a story for another day. Now, the Proverbs. Patience is the key to paradise.
Patience is the key to paradise.
Yes.
Great. I mean, they could not be better put. Because patience will earn you what otherwise would be difficult for others. In other words, staying power will actually get you to where you ultimately aspire to get to. So indeed, paradise is what everyone wants to get to. And the reminder is that it takes patience.
Patience is it. Has the key to paradise.
Yeah.
Do you think our political class has patience?
No. Our political class is not aiming to any paradise because they are already in paradise.
As far as they're concerned.
Yeah. They're already in paradise. So how they behave is they have arrived. And they have even forgotten how they arrived, where they are, and therefore they are enjoying their paradise. And everything they do is to enjoy the moment. Yeah.
Why do you think this is so?
It's because we have a build-up and a history that is not founded on any values or any principles, save for convenience and save for personal gain. So, anyone who seeks an elective position in this country is least likely to be doing so because they love you, because they really want the best of you. No. It's because they are aware that proximity and access to power is good for them. And because it's good for them, they maximize it. And they'll tell you that in order for them to continue being there, they must pass laws, they must do things that will apparently appear to be good for you, but actually only good for themselves. So they maximize it. And I'm saying this is not a very peculiar aspect to Africa or to Kenya. It's actually the mainstay of politics. So that even now when you're looking at Trumpism and you're looking at the Republicanism, the heart and the soul of the Republican Party has since disappeared, ever since Trump appeared. So that it's no longer about the party, it's about the man and his interests. And he has managed to whip them to his corner. Yeah.
You wouldn't say the same thing for the Democrats?
Again, the Democrats are also a cabal of their own. They have their own establishment, they have their own traditions, and they have their own belief system. Of course, for now, each one of them is seeking dominance, seeking power. And to do that, at least the Democrats are saying they can work with the Republicans. But the Republicans have even abandoned their republicanism to work with Trump. So it's all about what is in it for me? What are my interests? Yeah.
So I hear you to be saying that we are witnessing an entire shift and a change in the politics of the planet.
Absolutely. And if you want to get it better, we are living in the age of disruption. So that the other day when Obama was asking, when did it become normal for these kinds of habits and behavior or these kinds of statements to just go unchallenged? So we are not living in the normal times. We are now living in the very disruptive times where anything goes.
And why is that so? Because I want to connect this with what's happening in the country. Why is that so?
It's because we have lost the base, or the base has shifted, or circumstances have since become untenable. So, for example, do we have a base in this country that believes in the interests, the values, and the good, and the welfare of this country? Perhaps not. And so when people are voting for somebody because that person is promising them personal benefits or giving them some goodies and so on, they are not interested in the country. They are saying, tumalizane hapa. They are telling you, let's just fix what we need now. When you go there, we know you will disappear there. We know you will not care for us. So it's about a zero-sum game. We finish it here, you go do your thing, but as soon as you go there, we start complaining.
So is it something new, or is it the cycle of change that the human being, in whichever status he finds himself in a country, experiences every so often? So we talk of an era.
An era, yes. And you can look at it, there have been different epochs or different eras if you're looking at it from even an African perspective. If you look at our pre-colonial, we had certain structures, we had certain belief systems. When you look at us with the interaction with the colonial, again we have some disruption, but you'll see a movement in Africa, a movement in Kenya that actually is seeking independence and seeking certain values, certain freedoms and so on. That movement comes in up to the point when our so-called heroes take over. When they take over, they don't look forwards, they look backwards and they say, oh my goodness, this is how the colonialist was enjoying it. We want that, if not better. So that explains to us how our constitution, after being given a constitution by Britain or after so-called, Lancaster discussions, we have this constitution that's a bit different from how the colonialists ruled. And as soon as Kenyatta comes into power, he's obsessed to change the constitution so that he can be both a governor and a president and a king at the same time. Because his example is the colonial governor. Yeah.
if I mirror what you're saying to Kenya,
yes,
the disruption that often occurs in the history of mankind has to do with the generational changes. Because a generation comes about who did not experience colonialism, did not experience that era of that we had before. And for them, it's history. And they tend to look at life as it is, and they wonder what this fuss, these so-called older people
are fussing about.
Yeah, what are they about when the matters that are before them in their mind are fairly clear? Yeah. And this is what they would expect.
Yes.
So essentially, I hear you to be saying that we're at a time in the history of mankind where whether one likes it or not, change is upon us.
Change is here. And the change is not necessarily good. It's actually very disruptive. Yes. So disruptive that, look at Baba. Baba is now complaining that he has done so much in the past. He has lost friends. Now he doesn't care. He can just do anything now. The point is that is being made is that the young people, when they went to the streets and they started agitating, they were not looking at the past, they were not looking at the history. They were saying, we are not satisfied with the now.
Yes.
And we think that the values that we see or the values that we don't see are critical for us. So they're saying, where is accountability? And where is where are our parents? Where is our government? Where are our mentors? And so they were asking that we don't seem to be having mentors. Now, if you ask those people, they cannot tell you anything before Moi or even during Moi. They are looking more at Kibaki, the nearest, and then all they have been seeing is Uhuru and Ruto, and now Ruto. So they have a very short view of Kenya, and they have also lost faith in the so-called founders or the so-called framers of the constitution of the Kenyan nation. And they have lost faith because they cannot see the connection. They cannot see the aspirations. And perhaps they are right, because if this was all about poverty, all about ignorance, disease and education, where are we at? Look at the state of education in this country now. We are it's so chaotic. From university education to primary education, secondary education, we don't even know which is secondary, which is primary, which is... I mean, it cannot be that way. But we are there. We are there.
You're the one who doesn't know, Dr. Those who are in it, they know that they are in primary or in junior secondary, and they know they will go to senior secondary.
So let me ask you, how can a junior secondary be in a primary?
That's you. You see now, you are still old school.
This man, he's stuck with geography. Yeah. Till location.
Location is very important. Very important.
Let's take a break. 26 minutes to 8. Our guest this morning, Dr. Martin Olo. He's head of public law at the Daystar University. He's here. We talk about what's happening in the country and looking at the impeachments in this country and what the law says and the process. We'll be back shortly. Keep it here.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
Seal the deal every day with the all-in-one plan from Safaricom. Get data, minutes, and SMS all-in-one on-the-go monthly bundle plan from Safaricom. Tune into the Situation Room every Monday to Friday as we unpack the all-in-one monthly plan from Safaricom. Safaricom is for you.
Save money on your rising electricity bill with StarTime Solar Home Solution. We offer a complete home and commercial energy saving system that includes solar panels with 15-year warranty, lithium battery with 10 years warranty, and an inverter with 5 years warranty. StarTime Solar Home Solution is efficient, reliable, and safe to power essential appliances, complete home lighting, refrigerators, air conditioners, washing machines, microwaves, iron box, instant shower, and entertainment devices, television, computers, Wi-Fi Wi-Fi, and so much more. Say yes to reduced electricity bills and call us today on 0719 077 777 and get started on your green energy journey today. StarTime Solar. Power your life.
The weather with SpiceFM.
It's warming up in Nairobi. Remember, we are in that season, like we said earlier with City, that the sun is rising much earlier, like at 5 a.m. It's 13 degrees currently in Nairobi, highs of 26 later. Kakamega, partly sunny at 18, highs of 29. Eldoret, mostly cloudy at 14, highs of 24. Malindi, sunny at 26, highs of 30. Mombasa, sunny at 25, highs of 30. Nyeri, mostly cloudy morning at 14, highs of 25. Nakuru is sunny at 15, highs of 26. Kisumu, partly sunny at 20, highs of 29. Kampala, mostly cloudy at 28, at 19 rather, highs of 28. Lagos, mostly cloudy at 25, highs of 29. Johannesburg, partly sunny at 19, with highs of 31. It's a sunny morning in Mogadishu at 28, highs of 31. It's also sunny in Addis Ababa at 15, highs of 21. Slightly warmer in Dar es Salaam at 23, highs of 30. Paris is cloudy at 11, highs of 21. Rain in London this morning at 9, highs of 12. It's partly cloudy in New York tonight at 15. Later it'll be highs of 19, and Beijing going into a sunny afternoon at 22, highs of 23.
Welcome to Spice FM, the best exclusive radio station bringing you the best mix of the best music ever.
Haya, we know iko maneno everywhere that you look, all right? So Thika Superhighway is stretching all the way to Outer Ring. We know that on North Airport Road is actually very busy. From Eastern Bypass, get to Embakasi, the entirety of Embakasi into North Airport Road, into City Cabana's interchange, quite busy. Then you get into Mombasa Road, you get busy at Imara Daima, stretching all the way to General Motors interchange. Thereafter, it clears for a bit until you get to Nyayo Stadium, where you'll find a bit of traffic, and then it'll move into Bunyala Road, bit of traffic, Railways Bridge, bit of traffic. Langata Road is busy as you get into Wilson Airport, coming into the T-Mall Junction, going up Raila Odinga Way, very busy. As you come down to Madaraka, it's also busy. Douglas Wakaihori Road into Bunyala Roundabout is busy. Ngong Road is busy around the lights. Coming from Westlands heading towards town, yes, you will find traffic at Muga Green, and as you enter the Nairobi Expressway all the way to Ring Road Parklands interchange, and then thereafter it clears. James Geshoro Road is busy both sides as you head in and out. Right now it's okay on Red Hill Link Road. It's also not so bad on Lower Kabete Road, and Limuru Road is also not so bad.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Our conversation continues with Dr. Martin Law, who's a Wakili and the head of public law at Daystar University. So, there's been this whole conversation about, the process of impeachment, and we were discussing this earlier with City, the political side of it and the legal side of it. So the Deputy President is pursuing the legal side as he also tackles the political side. Members of Parliament were presented with a motion by Mwingi Mutuse, in which he listed a number of issues and accusations. And we're asking ourselves here, were the MPs, when they were standing to speak, were they responding to the motion as presented by Mwingi Mutuse, or are they talking about other things that were not even presented by Mwingi Mutuse in his motion? And if you look at it then, what is the Senate expected to look at? Is the Senate expected to look at strictly the charges that the National Assembly is bringing to the Senate, or will the senators also, because it's also a committee of the whole House in the Senate, also are they also going to be looking at matters that are not in the motion?
This is the interesting thing, that impeachment is largely a political process camouflaged in a legal clothing. So that whereas the charges were framed in such a manner as to accord with Article 149 of the Constitution and 150 of the Constitution in terms of the grounds upon which the Deputy President or the President can be impeached, the whole process was political. And I listened to some of good minds, some of my very good friends who were politicking on the floor of the House rather than talking about the charges as framed. And again, the framing of charges in and of themselves are only allegations. What is important is the investigations around it and the wealth of, and the evidence that is behind those allegations and the attempt to prove them. So that you can allege that Eric owns a chopper, he owns a helipad, he owns a hotel, and you can even bring the evidence that he's the owner, CR12. You can bring all those things. That's okay. But what are you prosecuting in order to connect Eric back to those issues? Now, in a normal legal trial, that would be something that could be canvassed in a way that's challengeable, cross-examined, and so on. Now, what we are dealing with here are political allegations that are camouflaged around politics, and the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua was a political process hatched, politically executed through politics and through betrayal inside the assembly and so on. To the extent that people who never even appear in parliament on any normal day, that day they were there, very early. So the whipping of it and all the canvas, the canvassing around it was more of a mob lynching than it was even a political process that had any semblance of sanity around it. But the bigger question is, why would the president whip and allow his deputy to be dragged through a process like that? A deputy president a president who, when he was a deputy president, went through a process that never led to impeachment, even though Uhuru had every opportunity to have whipped people to this point. And he himself had promised that never would he allow his deputy to be humiliated in that manner. So it boils down to trust, it boils down to confidence levels, but it also boils down to our playing up politics at the expense of nationhood.
You see, that's the thing. If our constitution places some constitutional thresholds as grounds for impeachment, and then we say that it's going to be a political process, so we are just going to bring in charges so we can just conform to the constitutional requirement. But in the floor of the House, we are going to bring in all other matters that are not necessarily here in the charges. And even if it goes to the Senate, we can do the same. What's the point?
No, that's the point that you asked. You see, why is Senate... I'm smiling because what I'm about to say, it does not apply in our country. But why is the Senate an upper house? Why is the Senate bequeathed with the responsibility of turning itself into a trial court in the case of impeachment? It's because it is meant to be a place where it will, such matters will be executed with care and duty to the law and the Constitution, to the extent that when they arrive at a decision, it should be one that's legally binding as opposed to the politics of it. But you see, if that were to happen, and we want to wait to see whether Senate will behave differently, because definitely MPs were not being fair, they were just being a lynch mob. Senate is expected to turn itself into a trial court and to actually conduct a process that can pass muster, a process that cannot be found wanting in a court of law.
It has handled many impeachment trials, the Senate. Do you have faith that this time it'll handle this impeachment trial as expected of it by the law?
As expected of it, I don't know. I don't think so. But give it to them. There are occasions when they have reasoned, there are occasions when they have done, perhaps made decisions that one would have thought were not coming. In the case of our good friend, the Senator of Meru, twice they were able to say, look, we don't have this. But then the third time they said, look, after all these things, we want to arrive at this. And I think maybe they were right at that point. So we've seen the Senate rise. But that doesn't stop us from imagining that they will not degenerate. They will not also go political. And especially if you imagine that the whipping is here, and the Senate is also the place where the constitutional amendments are also coming from, and there is push and pull, because all these things that are happening are a political chess game. So that when you see where the president is sitting, as he's engaging us, very busy with the Gachagua here, the National Assembly here, the Senate here, the other things are going through. Adani is going through. Asha and Shift are just floating. This morning I've heard he said that this shift is not going anywhere. Nobody is saying that it's going anywhere. We are simply saying, what value does this whole health insurance scheme give to people? If you're asking me to pay for it, for 2,000 bob for optical, what is that? I mean, even NHIF was better, so why move from what is working to what doesn't work? So basically what we are witnessing is that, and by the way, unfortunately, and we've been here before where we've said things that are coming, unfortunately, President Ruto is entrenching himself to be an ultimate dictator. He wants to be a king, he wants to be a president, and he wants to be a chief. Because having held opposition captive, having held a National Assembly captive, and most likely the Senate captive, we do not have voices that can, come against him. So basically we are dealing with a problem, and the problem that will come to bite us, because the moment you start lynching a deputy president, what will stop us from lynching the president? And remember, we do not have an IBC in this country as we speak. And we do not have processes that should lead us to some organized transitioning. So we are preparing ourselves for animation. We are preparing ourselves for very, very heated times. And we have actually destroyed trust levels in this country to the extent that nobody is going to trust anybody else when they are being promised that, okay, you will be deputy this, you will be prime minister that.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You'll be betrayed. And so people are going to go Thomas Hobbes. Thomas Hobbes was an English philosopher, and he said that man in the state of nature does not trust the other man. And that in the state of nature, life is short, nasty, and brutish. Now, when you have a country that refuses to mature 60 years down the line, has a progressive constitution which it wants to cannibalize, does not want to make progress, that country is preparing itself to go back to the state of nature, where life is short, nasty, and brutish, where people, there's a war of all against all. People come with ammunition to a table of discussion. So, because if you can't trust you, look at the kind of distrust now that is in the mountain region. They can't sit on a table and purport and say that they can trust they can trust anybody from where we are sitting. So we are having a situation where we are preparing ourselves for discussions that cannot have an end to themselves, because we cannot trust that what we agree will be implemented.
Will stay in place.
Yeah.
You mentioned the IBC, and that brings in a new angle,
yes,
which even Wakili Waiko Onyoike had penned down in the papers over the weekend, and is saying, look, the process of if the Senate impeaches the deputy president, he shall cease to hold office.
Yes.
That's what the Constitution says. All right? If cases are pending in court, what happens in that during that period? Does he cease to hold office? Can the president go ahead and nominate a new person to be the deputy president? And if he nominates, what's the procedure of actually getting a new deputy president? So take us through that. What does the law say?
Okay. The law gives the path and gives the days. As soon as he's impeached, within 14 days, the president should now nominate the next deputy president, who should be vetted and approved by the National Assembly within 60 days. So that's the Constitution. There's a court process on one end, there's impeachment process on one end. So true, once the Senate says, okay, we agree, Gachagua go home, he can continue his fights, but unlike in the case of a governor, the courts cannot injunct. The courts cannot say stay in office in this case. So he must continue his work.
Why can the
there.
courts not say stay in office?
You see, the thing is that where is that provision? Where is that? Because already, by the time let's agree here.
Okay.
By the time he's impeached, if he's impeached by Senate at 1 minute to midnight,
yes,
or there will be a Gazette notice at exactly midnight,
yes,
which is issuing that
vacancy,
vacancy, and the following morning at 6 a.m. you will see an appointment. Somebody will have been appointed, and the same day, on the same hour, transmission will be in the National Assembly, and the same day the National Assembly will be convening. The Speaker will be convening the National Assembly. Such is our.
But you're saying that there is no legal provision for the courts to halt that process.
You see, the thing is this: we are dealing with a process that's defined in the law. It is saying that the impeachment will happen in the National Assembly and
shall be confirmed
by the Senate. So once the Senate has confirmed it, that process is complete. So what are you injuncting? Who are you injuncting?
It's the same thing that happens in the case of governors, is it not? County Assembly,
yes.
Senate,
yes,
does it.
That's true. We've done that in the case of
Wambora is still served 2 terms.
Yes.
Kawera Mwangaza is still a governor. Is there anything in law that had said that the court can interfere with that process? No. But the courts have.
We are dealing with a very unique situation, and we are dealing with the deputy president. You see, the deputy president, there's a process called a political doctrine, or there's a doctrine called a political doctrine. Matters politics are left to political processes. And in that case, the courts down their tools to not want to be part of the political process. Because what you're dealing with here is not technically a legal process. You're saying that all that the Assembly needed to do is raise the numbers, which they have done. All that the Senate needed to do is to raise the numbers, which they might have. And once that is done, they've raised numbers this way. Process of the National Assembly is the standing orders. Process on this side is the standing orders. Now, these standing orders are internal to those houses. When you come to court, what are you coming to say? You are coming to clear your name. You are coming to say, I am not guilty of these things. But the political impeachment has happened.
The question is, what then are you taking to court?
Clearing your name on the
So clearing your name.
Yeah.
Can you challenge the processes? Because we talked about it earlier on, and I said you can challenge the process in court.
Yeah, but you see what has Parliament done? They will purport, they have said they have used their processes, and we know how has been trying to go to court and hasn't gotten any injunction on the process. It's now going to the Senate. Now, what all the Senate needs to do is to follow its process. And again, once the process is being followed, unless it's being violated, the courts will do nothing about it. They will not come and say, we don't know.
But it doesn't stop whoever it is who feels that they require justice beyond what has been meted out in either the National Assembly or the Senate. It doesn't stop them from going to court to challenge the process.
You see, there are 2 things when you go to court to do. You challenge the process and you challenge the legality of the process.
Yes.
So let's say that Parliament acted legally in looking at what the issues were. Yes, we are saying here that they were more political than they were, but they might even have raised non-issues, but they seem to have had the numbers and they voted, again procedurally.
So what constitutes the legality of the process?
Number 1, did they go through the process as outlined that
in the Constitution
and also in the standing orders?
Yes.
Number 2, did they afford the public to participate. They went and did their whatever amounted to public participation. Number 3, and you see the problem we have with public participation in this country is that we still don't have a law. So it's either this or that. So it's what you say it is. They even came back with statistics and say the number that said yes and the number that said no. So there is some kind of a semblance of public participation. Number 3, did they afford Gachagua an opportunity to come and defend himself?
They did.
They did. Then did they vote on each of the issues or they did. And then they finished that. Now, have they transmitted that decision to the Senate within the timelines?
They have.
Done. So if you go to that process, there's nothing much you'll fault.
But Wakili, all that doesn't matter.
Yes.
If what is constitutionally laid out as the threshold has not been met.
Which is, in this case?
On those matters, what the Constitution says as a threshold.
The Constitution says...
Serious violation, blah, 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 of the Constitution. Blah. Now, how do you measure that?
Now, you see, this is what I'm saying.
Because that's one of the arguments that the Deputy President is taking to court.
That's true. Now, this is now the question of interpretation. These guys have brought these charges, and these charges have been ventilated upon in the National Assembly and likely to be ventilated upon in the Senate. Now, what they say is a constitutional violation is what they say, not what is. Because then they are saying gross misconduct and they allege what they are alleging.
Yes.
Now, if you ask me from a legal technical perspective, they did not prove that. But from their own processes, they only needed two-thirds to say this happened. Now, from them, within their process, they have said it happened. Now, whether they are right or wrong is a political question, not a legal question. So that if you are prosecuting this in a constitutional petition, it will be a very different ballgame. What's the threshold and where? But for them, they are saying if 2/3 agree that this is right, then they have met their threshold.
2/3 and it has been met.
So it's not a very tidy place to go to. But remember this: people can be impeached and still go on in office.
Yes,
like in the case of
Martin
Ombora, or even the case of Trump. Trump was impeached how many times, or even Bill Clinton was impeached how many times.
But you see, this is the point.
Theirs was not confirmed in the Senate, remember?
That's the point.
But someone's impeachment is confirmed and they're still in office, and yet you say the process is complete. So essentially, our process is incomplete.
In the case of governor, I think we have it. The process is clear.
And that's what I'm seeking to understand. When you say that is different from the Deputy President, I don't understand. How is it different?
You see, we have not said in the Constitution, we have not given the courts the power to intervene or the power to interpret in the case of the President or the Deputy President. Because we have said these are people's appointees, or these are people who are elected by...
How is that different from governor?
How is it different from a member of parliament?
A member of parliament...
Let's even go to governor.
Governor...
How is it, which part of the law distinguishes how you impeach a president from how you impeach the governor in terms of the courts coming in?
The point about the governor is about, again, process. Now you go back to the county assembly. Did they? And if you realize, a lot of times, whether the Senate upheld the impeachment or not, it was whether the county assembly had followed its process and had completed the legalities and met the thresholds. So where the county assembly did not get it, the impeachment in the Senate was overturned
by the courts.
By the courts.
Yes.
So this time round, if you remember, twice.
So same thing can happen. In the courts with regards to the process in the National Assembly.
And that's why, and that's why the National Assembly was busy trying to fix and to cure all and any possible loopholes that could have been used to impeach their decision by carrying out all those processes, going to the people, and so on. So at least they can say they have done their bit. Now, Senate can actually call into question that and can say, we are not satisfied. Because now Senate is converting itself into a court. It's a trial court. It's a high court status at that point.
It's going to be an interesting couple of days. We'll invite you to come so we can look at it as
we can look at it as it
Dr. Martin Olo is advocate, head of public law at Desta University. He's been our guest. Keep it here for more. It's 8 a.m.
It's now 8 o'clock with Safaricom. Go monthly with an all-in-one bundle and enjoy convenience and value with Safaricom. For just 2,000 bob a month, enjoy 17 GB data, 1,000 minutes, 2,000 SMSs, and free WhatsApp. Go monthly. Dial star 544 hash and select Go monthly. Safaricom is for you.
Good morning. This is the news wire. I'm Leah Obaga. As athletes Ruth Chepngetich and John Kuril celebrate after clinching gold in the 2024 Chicago Marathon, leaders have also joined in celebrating and congratulating them. President William Ruto congratulated Chepngetich and Kuril, saying the nation has taken great pride in their stellar performances and for flying the flag high. He also congratulated Bravo Cheptai for securing the third position, noting that she had added bronze to Kenya's basket of medals. Joining him in sending congratulatory remarks, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said Kenya is super proud of Chepngetich's amazing achievement. And talking of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, his legal team, stewarded by Senior Counsel Paul Mwite, will today convince High Court Judge Chacha Mwite that his impeachment was based on unsupported allegations, hearsay, and lies. Gachagua says the charges he was impeached with did not meet the constitutional threshold to warrant his removal from office. The Deputy President wants the upper house barred from undertaking his trial in the plenary sessions scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday this week. He has expressed confidence in the judiciary in handling the matter. This will be Gachagua's 24th attempt, either directly or through proxies in court, to stop his removal from office, with other efforts proving futile. This event comes as the Chief Justice Martha Koome is also setting up a 3-judge bench that will be listening to other 5 cases of impeachment.
95 billion energy deal with the Kenya Electricity Transmission Company Ketraco and Adani for another 30 years. This will also not go unchallenged. We want to assure Kenyans that we will not allow our country to be auctioned by this bread-based regime. We shall fight in parliament, we shall fight them in court, we shall fight them on the streets, but we will never surrender our country to these latter-day merchants of Venice.
Tungeuliza uamuzi wa raia uheshimike, sababu raia wanapiga kura miaka 5 na ni mzuri kuheshimu uamuzi wa nini, lakini sisi tuna imani kubwa sana na mahakama zetu. Our judiciary is very professional, and I have no doubt in my mind that our eminent judges will protect and uphold the constitution, the rule of law, and always make sure that the will of the people is sovereign. Na tukiwa, that is the way a good country runs. So watu wa Kenya wako na imani sana, and they have faith that our courts of law will protect and uphold our constitution, and most importantly, always protect the will of the people, because the people are supreme.
And moving on, Senate is set to commence impeachment proceedings against Kericho County Governor Eric Kipkoech Mutai this morning. This event comes as the senators will be tasked with determining the validity of various charges brought against him, including gross violations of the Constitution, abuse of office, and gross misconduct. Thereafter, the two sides, that is the County Assembly of Kericho as well as Mutai, will be able to give their details over the accusations as well as defend themselves. Tomorrow, senators will vote to uphold or reject the County Assembly's motion for removal. And in the international scene is that South Africa's former Finance and Labour Minister and First Black Central Bank Governor Tito Mboweni has died aged 65 following a brief illness. The presidency has said that Mboweni was an anti-apartheid activist as a student who later became Democratic South Africa's first Labour Minister from 1994 to 1995 under former President Nelson Mandela. He then served as Governor of South Africa Reserve Bank for a decade from 1999 and later as Finance Minister from 2018 to 2021 under President Cyril Ramaphosa. That's the Newswire. I'm Leah Obaga.
102.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
It's red everywhere. So Langata Road is busy as you head towards town from the southern bypass coming all the way to the T-Mall Junction, and then you get up onto Royal Odinga Way. It's busy. As you come down to Madaraka and then you get into the Aerodrome Road, Douglas Wakehuri Road, it's also getting very busy because the roundabout there, that's the Bunyala roundabout, is busy. Nyayo Stadium roundabout is quite busy. So Mombasa Road is also affected by that Nyayo Stadium roundabout stretch because it goes all the way back to Mohoho Avenue. This is in South Sea. So Mombasa Road, busy, heading towards town. Uhuru Highway, busy, heading towards town. As you're coming to town from Westlands, it's also busy as you get into the expressway at Muga Green Estate. It's looking quite tight. Thika Superhighway is busy, stretches all the way to Mathare. Kiambu Road is also busy. Wangari Maathai Road is busy. Muranga Road is busy. Juja Road coming into town is busy. Landis Road is quite tight. Jogoo Road is busy. Manyanja Road is tight. Donholm Road is tight. Outer Ring Road is quite busy. North Airport Road is quite busy. Okay, we are on that busy hour. It's peak traffic time. So just be patient as you watch your traffic moving.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
7:08, Naivas Supermarket. Naivas saves you very many things. Naivas saves you time. Naivas saves you peace of mind. Naivas saves you convenience. Naivas saves you money. With 24-hour stalls, well, that is what you get with the Naivas Supermarket. So now they have two new 24-hour stalls. One is in Kamakis. The other one is in Utawala. They are big stores. So go there at any point, day or night, when you do some shopping. Nothing about, na nilichelewa na nilikuwa nimetumwa. No. You can pass in there at any time. Whether you are going to the night shift or you're coming from a night shift or you're going to a morning shift, whatever time, you can pass in by Naivas and purchase. So Naivas Kamakis, 24 hours. Naivas Utawala, 24 hours. That joins very many other Naivas outlets that are 24 hours every day. Make sure that you save yourself peace of mind. Okay? Our next conversation is going to still look at impeachment and the politics versus the legal side of impeachment and what then this whole means in terms of we as the citizens, are we getting our services? But as we get into that, remember the Safaricom all-in-one package, dial *544#. If you do that, you are on the way to getting yourself some more peace of mind. That's what we talk about here every day, peace of mind. So imagine yourself in a situation where you are making a call and then in the middle of that call, you run out of airtime. Or you're browsing and in the middle of that browsing, no, the thing is no longer just moving because you've run out of data. Or you're trying to, do some transaction and you needed a USSD code, *something # and you try to do it, tells you don't have sufficient airtime to get this service. Come on. You don't want to do that. That's why Safaricom have come up with that all-in-one package. All-in-one means you get SMSs, you get call minutes, you get data, and they add something on top of that, free WhatsApp. That's the all-in-one package. Find out more about it, dial *544#, choose the Go Monthly option, and then you'll see the all-in-one. Go to all-in-one, choose your preferred all-in-one package. John Chikati is the Secretary General of Ford Kenya Party, Chama ya Simba. He is also representing the people of Tongaren constituency in the National Assembly. He's our guest for the next 1 hour. Mheshimiwa, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Quite well, my brother.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Tumeambiwa na Wakenya tuache kuita watu waheshimiwa because wewe ni mtumishi.
Yes.
Mtumishi wa watu.
Kabisa.
Karibu.
Asante sana.
Chama iko imara?
Chama ni imara kabisa. Simba mara tatu.
Simba mara tatu.
Yes.
Why mara tatu?
Sisi husema Simba.
Yes.
Yeah.
City, did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah?
But it sounds good though.
Yes. Simba. Ford Kenya.
Yes.
All right. So, karibu sana. City will welcome you with the day's proverb. But before he gives you the proverb, he'll tell you something about the Aga Khan University Hospital. You know the Aga Khan University Hospital?
Yes.
Right? So, Aga Khan, the one at on Limuru Road, that's the main facility.
Right.
They also have very many other outlets, and I'm sure you've seen other outlets in your neighborhoods. 53 of them. But more than that, they even say, with Aga Khan, you get home-based care. City. Tell them about home-based care.
You know, the idea of taking ill involves you going to hospital and staying there. Aga Khan University Hospital is saying, no, that doesn't need to happen. We can take care of you at home. We can provide that care that you would get in the hospital at home. Okay?
Yes.
We can even test you for any condition that you may think you have at home. We will have the thing verified in our labs and we'll bring back the results to you. In addition to that, the Aga Khan University Hospital can ensure that you have professional care doing what they would do in hospital for you at home. Yes. And the thing that makes the Aga Khan University Hospital unique, the 53 outlets that we speak of simply bring healthcare close to you. So if indeed you do want to go and visit what you would call a hospital and get care within the hospital, the Aga Khan University Hospital has ensured that they are literally next to you now.
Yes.
But they've taken it further. They're at home with you. They will provide the home care you need, which is equivalent to the care that you would receive in a hospital.
Right.
Yes.
Asante sana.
Very
Home-based
good.
care.
Home-based care.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
The proverb for this week?
Yes, we are in the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. Okay? Patience is the key to paradise.
Patience
is the key to paradise.
Yes, that is the proverb.
What do you think this proverb is telling us? What's the interpretation of it?
I mean, always patience is a gateway to many things. It is telling us about really avoiding to hurry. Decision making should be very careful. We as politicians not entering into decisions and making decisions that you are not very sure of. So patience has always been beneficial to those who mind the fact that they should be slow in taking decisions in whatever direction.
So take your time.
Yes.
Get through everything. Understand the ins, the outs, the pros, the cons. Weigh everything. The consequences, the likely benefits, the likely risks.
Correct.
Before you move.
Yes.
This is what basically you see this proverb is telling us.
Yeah.
Do you think our parliament does that?
To some extent, yes. We take time to reflect on decisions we make. We take time to digest issues before making decisions. So yes, at times we do. Probably at times we've made things in a hurry, but at times we've been patient in making our decisions. Yeah.
You're here today so we can look back at last week in the National Assembly.
Yes.
The matter of the impeachment, the historic impeachment of the Deputy President. As stipulated in the Constitution, brought to the National Assembly, members of Parliament spoke for an entire day about it and in the end took a vote. And many, 290
281, yeah.
81
Yes.
voted to impeach the deputy president.
Yeah.
When you look back at what was happening in Parliament on that day, do you think that members of Parliament were actually looking at considering all those things that you've said should be considered before a decision is made?
The debate in Parliament on that day was based on individual decisions. Individuals had different reasons why they took that decision. Personally, I had some reasons which were not even among the 11 that were written. For example, the deputy president is a classmate. We joined with him in the University of Nairobi in 1985 in September. We left in 1988. I have come to know him very well. He joined the government as a DO, and then I joined the NGO sector. So we've had a long way, and he's a person I know well. Where I had a problem with him personally was on this issue of narrowing the Kenya as a country into a company. I didn't like that at all. I have personally had a discussion with him on that and told him my dissatisfaction with consistently airing out his view of Kenya as a shareholding state. That one was not good. In Parliament, I'm in the Budget Committee, and one of the things we are struggling with is the Stabilization and Equalization Fund to ensure that all parts of Kenya are equal. We want to uplift even the marginalized areas, the dry areas like Turkana, Samburu, Marsabit, parts of the coast, and even parts of Western Kenya and the Lake region. And therefore, when someone comes and say, if we are not within the bracket of the shareholding, you are not part of this system, and then where some of us feel excluded, and we fear that if that person gets the leadership of the country, then the country will be in chaos. So personally, that was one of the reasons. And if you look at that narrative, we forced him to some extent to stop this shareholding debate. And then he started this debate of 1 shilling, 1 vote. 1 vote, 1 shilling, which is closely related with this shareholding. And again, it was going to exclude a majority of the people. Then from there, he stopped that, and then he started this thing of Mount Kenya region, this thing of the mountain, and he has consistently been doing that. He also failed to visit different parts of the country to preach cohesiveness and unity. And therefore, those were my reasons why I felt like, we may be having a wrong person in top leadership. So every member of parliament had his own reasons. Yes.
So not necessarily.
So it was not a collective thinking.
Okay.
Yes.
So for those reasons, in which part of the Constitution do those reasons of yours lie? Is it a gross violation of the Constitution?
Our Constitution talks about cohesiveness. Kenya is one nation. And any part of this country is must be considered when it comes to... you see, once you are a president or a deputy president, you are bound by a collective responsibility of looking at Kenya as one.
Yeah.
And therefore, once you become parochial at that level, then you don't deserve to be in that position. Yes. It is morally wrong. Yes.
As a party,
yes,
because you're Secretary General, clearly spokesman of Ford Kenya.
Yes.
As a party that is part of the coalition that is ruling the country, have you raised this matter with your partners in UDA? Because he's the deputy party leader of UDA.
As the Secretary General of the party, I have made a lot of consultations, and I have also written to His Excellency the President about these remarks of the Deputy President to help guide him so that his remarks should be remarks that bring the nation together. These remarks of shareholding was actually bad. And you could see throughout the country that they were not in line with the thinking of many Kenyans, and people didn't like it. And therefore, I have already written, I wrote to the head of state, expressing our dissatisfaction.
How many times did you write?
Once. And I met also the deputy president and I expressed my dissatisfaction because, you know, we do not need to polarize this country.
Did you get a response from the president?
No one responded. Even the deputy president didn't. Yeah.
So there was no follow-up on this particular matter. So you have officially, formally written as Ford Kenya, raising concern about these utterances by the deputy president. And you have raised these with the president and said, we are concerned about what's going on. But you never got a response.
We didn't get a response.
What did you make of that?
Probably a response will come. You have just talked about being patient. Yes. So I am. Yes.
Do you think this impeachment motion was then the response?
You see, impeachment, this was, to me, when the impeachment came, those are the reasons that I considered. Yes. So to some extent, it was a response. Yes. Yes.
You know, I've heard people say that when the deputy president spoke of shareholding, he caused a great offense, and they said that what he said was morally wrong. Let me ask the question. You are Member of Parliament for Tongaren.
Yes.
The people you represent there, is it a settlement scheme?
It's a settlement scheme.
Okay, so people are somehow mixed, isn't it?
Yes.
But your primary interest is to represent those people.
Correct.
How many constituencies are there in Bungoma County?
9 constituencies.
Precisely.
Yes.
Are they your primary concern, the other 8 constituencies? Are the other 8 constituencies?
Yes, to some extent, yes, because I'm the Secretary General of the party.
No.
Yes.
As a Member of Parliament.
As a Member of Parliament, I respond to those in Tongaren.
Precisely.
Yes.
Now, you have answered very well.
Yes.
But as a Secretary General of the party, you are concerned with the other 8.
Yes.
Now, if you had not been a Member of Parliament for Tongaren, would you have been the Secretary General?
I can't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm simply trying to say that leadership starts from home.
Yes.
When you are able to provide the sort of leadership that people who are closest to you, who elect you, when it is clear, then it becomes easier for you to be given a much wider leadership of people.
Yes.
Now, I look at the Deputy President and what he said. If he talks about shareholding, I think that man spoke a great truth.
Yes.
Because in any political contest, if the part or the party or the group you belong to win, I do not expect that when you are determining who holds which position or who does what, that you are going to give due consideration as a first option to people who lost the election. You will give consideration to the people with whom you won the election. Is that not so?
That is not true. You see, I'm a Member of Parliament for Tongaren. I won against Dr. Eseli. Those who voted for me and those who did not vote for me, they are young people, they are children, they are students, deserve bursary, irrespective of whether they voted for me, because they only have one MP. They don't have another one. The road infrastructure should pass through the polling centers and in regions, locations which voted for me, plus those ones which didn't vote for me. When you look at the electricity which we are now supplying throughout Tongaren, it must go into households of those who voted for us and those who did not vote. And therefore, you represent those who voted for you, because there is no any other parallel government for the one who voted and the one who did not vote. Once you become a president, you look after everybody equally. So that is one. 2, the deputy president came in Bungoma with the president, and this one, everybody who is in Bungoma and who is on this radio can be able to attest. And Moses Wetangula, who is the Speaker of the National Assembly, requested the President for a number of roads to be done, a number of electricity programs, and quite a number of appointments to go to the people who by that time had not received. And the Deputy President, who spoke immediately after Moses Wetangula, said, and I remember, that this country is a shareholding company, and Bungoma has had it. Mepata share yenyu. And don't ask for more. Honestly.
Did he lie?
No.
What was he referring to? No, when he talks of shareholding, what was he referring to?
Maybe he was referring to that, if we ask more, we are asking for his shares. So
yes. Let me take you to the county governments of this country. And we look at the discussion that is normally had.
Yeah.
If the governor comes from one area of the county,
yes,
it is expected that his deputy will not come from that same area.
Yes, yes.
It is also expected that the Speaker of the County Assembly will also not come from that area, but from a different area.
Correct.
So far, am I getting this thing okay?
Correct.
Yes. Now, it is that understanding of a fair distribution of leadership positions within a county.
Correct.
And it's also understood that the second time around, there should be movement. People, meaning the grouping who had not gotten certain positions, should also now vie. It is understood.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. It isn't written anywhere, but it is understood.
Mm-hmm.
Surely, is that not a shareholding?
It isn't. It's about, it's an ideology of leadership, fair distribution of resources. This is a human resource and material resources plus funds. It is not about shareholding. The moment we talk about shares, definitely we shall exclude those who did not.
But be fair.
Yes, yes.
Be fair, John.
Yes, yes.
Even when the Deputy President was talking about shareholding,
yes,
it's about appointments.
Yes.
Not about distribution of these other resources. The roads, even when he stood up to speak after Speaker Wetangula had spoken, he did not say Msipate Barabara. It's because Wetangula had said about appointments, some jobs that people should get. As you were saying, when it comes to jobs, my friend.
Let me give you another example so that you know that what he meant was beyond the appointments. The MP for Mavoko, early this year, there were a lot of demolitions in Mavoko.
Yes.
And I was with the MP for Mavoko. And he went to see the Deputy President to intervene so that they can stop the demolitions in order to allow people to get out their property, their assets, so that they can maybe continue with the demolitions. And he met the Deputy President, and then he asked the Deputy President for support, and the Deputy President, and I want you to ask the MP for Mavoko to come here for this interview. And the Deputy President told him that his shares are with the Kalonzo Musyoka.
Essentially, he was being told to go and talk to Kalonzo.
Yeah. So the MP for Mavoko voted for the impeachment because he also has his own reasons, just like I have mine.
Let's take a break. We'll continue this conversation shortly. Our guest this morning is the Secretary General of Ford Kenya. John Chikati is the Member of Parliament for Tongaren constituency. Huku ndio Yesu ametoka.
Yes, hapo ndio Yesu anatoka. Naendelea kumwombea.
Before we go there, tell us about Yesu.
Yesu is there. Honestly, he's there. Okay.
He's there. What is there?
He's in Tongaren.
One person.
He's alive and well.
He's alive and well.
Yesu.
Yes. Yesu is there. Yesu of Tongaren. He's a very good friend of mine. And he keeps on praying for this nation. That's why we are doing well. Yes.
We'll be back shortly.
Asante.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Seal the deal every day with the all-in-one plan from Safaricom. Get data, minutes, and SMS all-in-one on-the-go monthly bundle plan from Safaricom. Tune into the Situation Room every Monday to Friday as we unpack the all-in-one monthly plan from Safaricom. Safaricom is for you.
September, endelea kufurahia na Star Times. Renew your subscription today on the basic bouquet for 750 shillings for aerial decoders. Enjoy lots of fun and adventures on our kiddie channels. Let your favorite stars make your heart flutter on our world-class telenovelas. Renew your subscription on the Smart Bouquet for 1,199 shillings for satellite decoders for unmissable football action on the Carabao Cup, Saudi League, La Liga, and the Bundesliga. Music, movies, documentaries, and lifestyle channels. Download Star Times on app today on Google Play Store or the Apple Store to never miss a moment of your favorite shows. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
The weather with SpiceFM.
What's happening? It's warming up in Nairobi, 16 currently, and highs of 26 later. It's partly sunny in Kakamega at 21, Muvita, Mombasa, mostly sunny at 25, Malindi, sunny at 26, Nakuru, sunny at 16. It's hot and sunny in Nyeri at 15. It's warm in Eldoret at 17. It's cloudy in Kinshasa at 24. Sunny in Kampala at 20. Johannesburg is sunny at 20. Lagos is cloudy at 25. Mogadishu is sunny at 28. Sunny in Dar es Salaam at 25. It's hazy in Addis Ababa at 16, highs of 21 later. It's also hazy in Beijing at 21, highs of 23. It's very cold in London. Heavy rain at 9. It's also cold in Paris, mostly cloudy at 11. It's a cool night in New York at 14, and highs of 19 later.
Sugar and spice and everything nice. SpiceFM.
Spice up your life.
Red Hill Link Road coming towards ABC Place is now getting busy. Is Lower Kabete Road is also looking the same, kind of busy. It's also busy on Limuru Road as you get to the Muthaiga Road junction, and then thereafter it moves on okay until you get to the UN Avenue where it starts picking up again. Thika Superhighway is improving actually. Earlier it was stretching all the way to Outer Ring Road. Now it's coming up to Survey. Kiambu Road is also not looking so bad, but there's something happening in this morning on Wangari Maathai Road. So if you can avoid Wangari Maathai, if you're coming from Thika Superhighway, just avoid it. Muranga Road is not so bad. It starts at Ngara as you get to Globe Cinema roundabout. Okay, Mombasa Road was looking crazy earlier. Yeah, it's stretching now from Capital Center heading towards Nyayo Stadium, into Bunyala, into Railways Bridge, into Haile Selassie Avenue. That affects also the Douglas Wakaihori Road. Langata Road was looking crazy earlier. It has improved somewhat. It's only busy as you approach the areas within Wilson Airport, and then you get to T-Mall Junction. It clears. Ngong Road, busy at the lights. North Airport Road was busy much earlier. It's still looking busy, but it's improving as you head in towards town. Eastern Bypass, as you come towards North Airport Road, is still looking busy.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
26 to 9, our conversation continues with the MP for Tongaren Constituency, Secretary General Ford Kenya, John Chikati, mwakilishi wa Yesu bungeni. We're talking about the impeachment, the ins and outs of what was happening in Parliament last week as we were watching it, and he's confirming to us that many members of Parliament were voting for various reasons, not even among the 11 that were presented by Mwenge Mutuse in the impeachment motion. Mm-hmm. There were others that were for different other reasons. But all those reasons, were they reasons that you feel reach that threshold, the constitutional threshold, to impeach a deputy president? Or are they just political reasons of feeling that this person, damu yangu na yake simekatana?
A number of those reasons advanced by Mwenge Muthuse were within the constitutional framework. And the legal department of Parliament had really looked at them critically. Quite a number of reasons were political. And personally, I took some political decisions, and one of the areas that we look at is the stability of our country. The statements that come from one person may allude to the thinking of that person. So personally, I thought that we may not be having a good person at that top leadership, and so those are, to me, I took a decision because of my interaction with the deputy president, as I had talked about. His statements, which are not bringing cohesion within the country, his statements which are exclusive, which bring disunity, and so that was the decision I took. Yes.
When we had gone on the break, you mentioned an incident that helped firm the position that you took.
Yes.
On a trip that you were with the deputy president.
Yes.
On a military chopper going to Katanga.
Yes, I remember in February 2023, we were going to Katanga, and both the president and the deputy president, and I was privileged to be invited to join the team that was going to Katanga for a church service. And I sat with the deputy president in a military chopper next to him. And I told him, since we were classmates in 1985 in the University of Nairobi, can I be able to be the chairperson of the alumni of members of parliament who joined, because we are quite a number. Yes, we are quite a number in government. Lusaka was there. Martin Olo, who was here, is my classmate. Ekwe Thuro, Kariako Topiko, Anna Amadi. We are quite many. And so I told him, can I have Biana coordinate for you? He said, "Diye mepitwa na wakati." So, and then he put the earphones or whatever, and then we went to Katanga. And from Katanga, again, we didn't talk. Imagine, and we are classmates.
Did you go ahead to coordinate?
I could not coordinate something that someone does not want.
Were you doing it for him, or were you doing it for the class?
I thought that we could be able to coordinate with him being a patron, so that we could come together to look at how we can be able to help this nation. Okay, but then he
you are serious people, all of you. Anyone could be the patron.
He poured cold
water. If you're honestly looking at it,
yes,
Chikati, as this is an issue, all of us, this cohort of people who went through university around this year,
yes,
we can come together. We are looking at ourselves in the positions we hold in society. We can either give back, we can contribute, we can come together as a club.
Yes.
It doesn't need Rigathi Gachagua.
Yeah, but
you could have made Ekwe Thuro the patron.
But Rigiji is not just a Rigijina.
Or John Chikati.
Yeah, he's not just Rigijina name.
Or leave the position of patron open.
He's a deputy president. So when he says, "Iyo kitu imepitwa na wakati," and he's senior, he's sending a signal that you are doing a wrong thing. So again, I thought that so when this issue of impeachment came, I thought that probably from the word go we had a wrong person. Yes.
You, as the Secretary General of Fort Kenya,
yes,
you're privy to many things that Fort Kenya, does. You must be privy to the coalition agreement between Fort Kenya and candidate William Ruto.
Yes, not in detail, because it was signed by my predecessor, Chris Wamalwa. Yes, and so when I came in, it had already been signed.
But you've seen it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So is what the deputy president told the country true?
What did he say?
He said that among the agreements with Ford Kenya was you contribute to campaigning for the coalition. And should the coalition win, then 30% of government positions would be allocated to Ford Kenya.
Yes, that is what the agreement says.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you gotten your share?
I'm not in that arrangement of shareholding. It's an ideological thinking. It's a political thinking that, once we get positions, these are the ones you will get 30%. We've not gotten, as a party, we've not gotten all the positions up to that percent. Because we know that Kenya is not just for Ford Kenya. It's for all Kenyans. So we represent a position where there should be fair distribution of resources across the country.
So as the Secretary General of the party, are you pushing for the best of your party by saying this? We have contributed to Kenya Kwanza administration forming government. We have an agreement, a pre-election agreement, that should we get, this is what we shall get in return.
Yes, we've been pushing for
your 30%.
Yes, we've been pushing for what was in the agreement for the 30%, but we put in mind that the country is facing a critical resource shortage. Okay, the country is facing challenges in terms of financial expenditures and revenue. And so as we push, we are also careful not to destroy this country. Yes.
So what have you gotten so far? 25%, 26, 5?
Probably. I have not been able to look at it mathematically, but we have quite a number of people recommended by Ford Kenya who have been appointed to key positions. Yeah.
Where are they from mostly? Which part of Kenya?
They are from all over the country.
For example?
Yeah, so we have people from Kakamega. We have one person who is the chair of the Revenue Authority. We have the ambassador of Senegal. That one is from Bungoma. We have we've quite a number of people. If I knew you'll ask me, I'll have prepared a very long list for you to go through and appreciate.
Is there anyone from northeastern Kenya?
Yes, we have Madam Nasra, who is the treasurer of Ford Kenya, who is the chair of the one of the water bodies in northern Kenya.
Yes.
Tarda.
Yes.
Yes.
Is there anyone from the coast?
Yes. We have. I will look whether we have probably Ruhu, who is the chairman of Ford Kenya, has some position in the government, and then Hadija Mustafa from Kirinyaga, who is the director of elections in Ford Kenya, is holding another key position in one of the parastatals. And then from Nyanza, we have Millicent Abudo, who is a director in Zoya Sugar Company. So it is well distributed.
Among the officials of the party?
Among the officials of the party.
So officials of the party have gotten appointments in government?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody who's not an official of the party who's been appointed to government?
You must be a key stakeholder because you asked whether the party got 15%. So, yes.
So you must be a shareholder in the party to get appointment in the party.
A stakeholder.
Case closed.
A stakeholder. You must be a stakeholder. Yeah. Yes.
My point has been made.
Yeah. No, you see, there's a difference between shareholding and stakeholding.
Same thing.
A stakeholder is a person of interest.
You know, Mheshimiwa?
Yes.
If we were to look at our lived reality as far as our politics is concerned, I don't know why it is that people make this shareholding a bad word. Okay? The truth of the matter is, look at any political party. Any. Why don't we look at ODM?
Yes.
And when they shook hands and are now part of the broader government.
Yes.
The people who are appointed as ministers, they are ODM stalwarts, are they not? each and every one of them is an ODM stalwart.
Yeah.
In fact, deputy party leaders and people who are chairman of ODM, it's the same thing.
Correct.
You can't have a position and have given time and energy to a political party. When the spoils are being divided, you will expect to be given something because of the position you hold and what it is that you mean to the party. So, let me repeat. The idea of shareholding, in my mind, is not a swear word. It is not a bad thing. It is simply the reality of our politics. Let's look at the backyard of where the president comes from. How many people have been appointed to positions from that backyard?
Right.
There are very many. It is out in the open. And how many people has the deputy governor who can lay claim to having been appointed? This is something that happens in any political dispensation. In fact, in others, it is expected that when a new government comes in, everybody who was in the previous government out. And new people come in.
To me, it was about the usage, the connotation, the negativity in which the word shareholding was used. The term shareholding itself has no problem. But when you use it to exclude, you see, so shareholding as a term has no problem. You can use it even positively, encourage people, use it to unify the country. But then the deputy president used it negatively. That if you are not within that bracket, don't ask anything.
I get the impression I am getting from what you've just said is that the deputy president seemed to have had a particular talent for offending people. Because everything that is referred to as political and which is not legal or constitutional has to do with an affront, an offense that people felt had been committed. They were disregarded, they were spoken to badly, they were not given due attention, and it seems to have been widespread.
You see, we are having two people. We have the president and the deputy, who is the principal assistant of the president. One of the things they should be involved in right now, the country is facing a lot of economic challenges. People require hope. People require to be given some amount of hope and optimism within these challenges. If people are facing challenges and then they come to you and you say, shares zako ziko na Kalonzo, shares zako ziko na Wetangula, then you are not giving those people hope. Okay? If we have a problem and then we come to you and we are saying, look, please help us with this, even when you don't have, leave us with some amount of hope. Okay? And that is how the deputy president failed. Now people are asking, in case anything happens and he becomes a president, how will this country be ruled? So that is the fear. That is the fear. Anything can happen to the current president, although the law says you should not imagine it. But anything can happen.
There's nothing in the law that says we should not imagine it.
Yes.
Nowhere. No.
That one was the time when Jomo Kenyatta was president.
Yes.
The law does not stop us from imagining the death of a president.
Okay.
Because he will die at some point.
Yes. But this is what
you will die, I will die, Eric will die.
In fact, the Constitution imagines it.
And
says
in the event,
one of the ways in which we can have a vacancy in the office of the president is the death of the president.
Yes. Now, suppose that happens, and then someone who balkanizes the country comes to be the president, and then you go to him, and then you say, look, I would like to have even water. Then he tells you, wapi share zako?
Enda uliza Yesu.
Yesu. Yes.
Akupatie maji.
Nani alikwambia Yesu azaliwe Tongareni? It's very interesting. Yes.
Parliament.
Yes.
By MPs going across the constituency and holding those public hearings, MPs were saying that we have to dispense with this matter so that we can get back to matters that really affect Kenyans. So Parliament, the National Assembly, has dispensed with that matter. Now it's your lawyers and Mwenge Mutuse who will go to the Senate and take that matter forward. Is the National Assembly now back to doing the job that really affects Kenyans?
Yes, we finished that issue on Tuesday by around 10 p.m. By Wednesday, we were able to the normal motions of Parliament. Parliament is working as usual. The committees are running as usual. On Friday, I attended the budget committee to review budget issues. And on Tuesday, we go back to our normal business. Yes. Yes.
So you're a member of the budget committee.
Yes.
And this is a very important committee of the National Assembly.
Right.
Because as we look at how the government is spending, you have to be very, very sure that every shilling is going towards, as much as possible, service delivery.
Yeah.
So that Kenyans get the service that they deserve, that they are paying taxes for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Would you tell the country today that as far as you're concerned, looking at the reports that come to you from the Controller of Budget, looking at the reports that come from the Auditor General, looking at the reports that come to you from the National Treasury, that we are properly utilizing all the shilling that we have?
Yes, the shilling we have at the moment is probably being utilized from the reports that we evaluate. The budget committee is there to receive proposals from the Treasury, from Parliament, and then appropriate those monies to various departments, allocate the money for usage in various departments. What the budget committee does not do, because it is not within its purview, is the evaluation of the usage, which is within another committee within Parliament, the Public Accounts Committee. So ours is to receive the proposals and then allocate. But so far, from what I know, is that usage of public money is not worse. It is within the allowed parameters.
Who receives the reports that come from the National Treasury, the periodic reports?
As we receive proposals
on utilization of budget.
Because we have the Auditor General, we have the Control of Budget, and then the other side we have the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament.
Yes.
Yes.
And we have the National Treasury.
Yes.
Should be coming back to Parliament every so often.
Yes.
With how it's utilizing the monies.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Is that not coming to the Committee on Budget?
We do not really evaluate we do not really evaluate on how the money is being utilized. But then we look at the papers and then we look at the documents and then we evaluate, we assess, and say we gave you this last year, for example. Why are you asking? Why are you asking for more?
Right.
What has this been used?
Right.
We normally ask.
Right.
Yes.
We are right now in the budget making cycle for the next financial year.
Yeah.
And if you look back into the last budgets, right, into what the National Treasury has come and proposed by February, in terms of the budget policy statement.
Yes.
And by the time they come with the budget in June, and then the supplementary budgets in September.
Correct.
Another supplementary budget around April.
Yes.
There's always a huge variation. What you initially approve for them to spend, but as well as they end up spending, there's a variation. And where the money goes to, right? And this is where many people say that, we end up not getting, bang for our buck. Because money that was earmarked for a certain project, for example, those roads in Bungoma that Speaker Wetangula was talking about, I'm sure they've appeared somewhere in a budget before.
Yes.
Why don't they end up getting implemented?
Sometimes we budget for activities within our country, but then when it comes to implementation, the money is not available. Sometimes we do that. We do that. Probably we budget hoping that some donor somewhere, some financier will support our country's activities, or we budget knowing that revenue will be generated, will be collected, and then dispersed through the national treasury. But that revenue, the target revenue, is not arrived. And so we have various reasons why we may budget for certain activities, and in the course of implementation, they are not done, they are not executed, and they are not delivered, because, you know, the revenue that has been generated is not in consonant with the expenditure that is supposed to be incurred.
Yeah, we always end up spending what we had budgeted for, or you don't raise what you had targeted to raise.
Because when you come to the revenue raising, we do not only rely on the internal revenues raised. We also rely on donor funding, we rely on financing, and we rely on PPPs, private partnership programs. And so all that are captured within the budget framework. So that is one reason why many projects, or quite a number of projects, may be within the budget framework, but they are not implemented because the revenues have not been raised. Two, we may have certain contingencies along the way, certain emergencies and certain situations. For example, in 2020, where we had a very prolonged drought, okay, and then followed recently by a very prolonged situation of floods, okay, which we had not been budgeted for because it's a contingency, or certain amount of disease that can hit the country. So those are some of the things that can consume huge amounts of money, but they were not within the budget, and therefore they forced the government to reallocate the funding to these situations. Yes.
Currently, there are many issues that are facing Kenyans, and I'm sure even the people of Tongaren, some people who appeared in the public participation for the impeachment of the deputy president must have raised it. Issue of healthcare, access to healthcare, with the rollout of SHA, the issue of school, and children not accessing school, bursary and the expenses of schools. You know, all these are the issues. These are the issues that are really hurting Kenyans, that Kenyans care about. Is Parliament aware that these are the issues that Kenyans care about?
We are quite aware because we interact with people on a daily basis. Yes, but what I can tell you, my brother, is that transition from one thing to the other is always takes time and even to adjust. I attended the Form 463 education. You came in for 844, okay? 844 was good because mlipembelezwa na maziwa na moi, mnakunywa kidogo, alafu mkakubali. Hii ingine haijakuja na maziwa, hii CBC. Haijashika. So transition is always something that takes time. It takes time to be appreciated. It takes time to be adopted. I am not an expert in the health sector, but transiting from the universal health care to SHA and SHIF has taken a lot of time, and acceptance is somehow difficult. But it is my prayer and hope that things will be okay so that our people can get the health service. When you look at experts who studied the two models, they say the current model is the best. And as I said, I'm not an expert. And so we hope that this transition can be quickly done so that our people can benefit from healthcare. When you come to the funding model of higher education, from help loan to the current model, we see that it has a lot of challenges, okay? A lot of challenges. And the president has set already a committee to review the snags within that arrangement. So the goodwill is there. We don't do things for the wrong. We always do it for the better of the society. And that is my hope, that both in education and in healthcare, things can improve. Yes.
So far, are you happy with the transition? In just Shah?
I can't say I'm happy or I can't say I'm not happy because it has not yet fully succeeded. We still have quite a number of things that need to be realigned. And I think the minister in charge of health with the stakeholders there are working hard to ensure that it works.
Okay.
Yes.
Mheshimiwa, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yes.
Come again soon.
Yes.
Yeah. John Chikati is the MP for Tongaren constituency, Secretary General of Ford Kenya. He's been our guest for this hour. And asalimia Yesu sana.
Asante. Yesu normally anasema amina. But thank you so much. Asanteni sana.
You say he's your friend?
Yes, he's a very good friend of mine. Immediately after this, I'll call you, say hi to him.
It's 9 a.m.
Asante sana. Thank you.
Spice up your life.
It's now 9 o'clock with Safaricom. Go monthly with an all-in-one bundle and enjoy convenience and value with Safaricom. For just 2,000 bob a month, enjoy 17 GB data, 1,000 minutes, 2,000 SMSs, and free WhatsApp. Go monthly. Dial *544# and select Go monthly. Safaricom is for you.
Good morning. This is the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga. And Kenya is set to receive Mpox sample collection kits to support accurate and timely diagnostic testing. The kits from key partners, including the World Health Organization, country representative, and USAID, will facilitate rapid detection and response to the Mpox outbreak in the country. Health Cabinet Secretary Deborah Baraza will grace the handing over ceremony slated for 9 a.m. at Afia House. Kenya has so far reported 12 Mpox cases, 5 of which are currently on management, while 7 have fully recovered. The cases are distributed into different counties, namely Nakuru with 2 cases, Kajiado 2, Taita Taveta, Busia, Mombasa, Bungoma, Kericho, Kilifi, and Nairobi with 1 case each. No Marburg case has, however, been reported despite receiving an alert from WHO on the Marburg virus disease. Now, the Kupet is pushing for the consideration of construction of JSS school classrooms that are being funded by the World Bank. Speaking in Kisumu, Secretary General Akelo Misori said the government should ensure that there is an appropriate use of the funds to strengthen the standards and ensure they're of good class.
We know very well that the government effort to ensure that the schools are still in primary may not now be challenged because they have gotten money from World Bank to build schools. We want this one to be spread to all schools so that the classrooms are not affected by lack of proper infrastructure. We also need labs to be constructed in primary schools because this is going to lay the proper foundation for senior school and also for selection, various pathways in senior school.
On his part, Kupet Treasurer Ronald Tanui has complained about NEC as he has blamed it for allegedly giving poor pay to teachers who administer examinations.
Surely mistreatment of teachers must come to an end. As we go towards the next CPA, we must ensure that we capture the challenges the teachers are facing. For example, they are delivering their services by standing. You know, the only people who deliver their services standing also are the traffic policemen who are collecting something as they are standing. But teachers are not given anything extra.
And Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is looking up to the courts to deliver him justice in the face of the onslaught mounted by members of Parliament. Gachagua, who seems to have ruled out chances of surviving in the Senate, where his case is due this Thursday, said he believes judges will reason with him. Despite losing more than 24 bids to stop MPs from removing him, he told the church service in Embu on Sunday that he had faith in the courts. And the other impeachment case at the Senate will today begin hearing the motion for the impeachment of Kericho Governor Eric Mutai. The plenary sitting is scheduled to start any time from now. Mutai is set to know his fate Tuesday when the senators conduct a vote. Former Chief Justice Willie Mutunga's son, Athman Mutunga, has passed away. Athman, 50, died while undergoing treatment at a hospital in Nairobi. Chief Justice Martha Koome condoled with Mutunga's family over the loss of their son. She said the judiciary stands with the former CJ as they go through this difficult time. The CJ also prayed for comfort to the family as they come to terms with the loss of their loved ones. And in the international scene, a man in illegal possession of a shotgun and a loaded handgun was arrested at an intersection near Donald Trump's rally in California on Saturday. The 49-year-old suspect, Vem Miller, was driving a black SUV when he was stopped at a security checkpoint by deputies who located the 2 firearms and a high-capacity magazine. That's the Newswire. I'm Leah Obag.
.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Eastern Bypass into North Airport Road, very, very busy. North Airport Road into the junction with Outer Ring Road, quite busy. And then after that, it clears. Outer Ring Road is also busy around this area of Feather Estate. Manyanja Road has been quite tight this morning, but it's improving now. The only issue now is on Jogoo Road as you head towards City Stadium roundabout. And then the Landis Road is actually also quite busy. Mombasa Road has been busy from South Sea heading all the way to Nyayo Stadium roundabout. It's now clear. Now the only area is from Bunyala roundabout heading into Railways Bridge onto Haile Selassie into town. Langata Road has also been quite busy. It's now cleared. It's moving quite well into T-Mall, and then Raila Odinga way towards the City Moche roundabout is all right. Ngong Road is only busy around the lights. Now, as you head towards town from Thika Superhighway, you'll find the traffic starting at Survey, coming towards town, and then thereafter it clears. Wangari Maathai Road was busy earlier. It's now okay. Now the only problem is at Globe Cinema roundabout, but that's not a problem. That's what you expect to find there around this time. Museum Hill in towards town is quite hectic right now. Just this area around the boulevard, it's busy, and then thereafter it clears. Westlands into town towards the roundabout has been busy all morning. It's still busy, but things are changing.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room.
The Safaricom all-in-one package is what you need to have, a smooth life, and so that you can just have peace of mind in everything that you're doing. The Safaricom all-in-one package tells you buy one 30 days and you have access to call minutes, you have SMSs, you have data. This is what you get with the Safaricom all-in-one package. So what do you need to do? You need to dial star 544 hash. Star 544 hash. And then thereafter, you'll choose the Go Monthly option. It'll be option number 4. Go Monthly. And then thereafter, it'll bring you all-in-one. So select the all-in-one, then you look at what you'd like. Would you like the 500 bob one, 1,000 bob one, 2,000 bob one, 3,000 bob, 5,000? It's your choice, bwana. Depends on what you want. Sindio City?
Kweli. But the benefits are immense.
Abisa. For example, 2,000 bob one gets you what?
It gets you 1,000 minutes talk time, 2,000 SMSs. This one is the one which always jazzes me. 2,000 SMSs. Hey, those are many.
2,000, those are many.
But 17 GB data. And then, WhatsApp, free.
Free WhatsApp.
Kabisa.
Free WhatsApp.
You can call through WhatsApp. You can send messages free. Yes.
That's a good thing.
For a whole month.
It's a Safaricom all-in-one, valid for 30 days once you purchase. Peace of mind for 30 days, and then you'll renew again after 30 days. If you're thinking about shopping for 24 hours, at any point in 24 hours, shopping for 24 hours can be a bit too much. If you're thinking about shopping at any time within 24 hours, don't worry. Naivas has 24-hour outlets, and they have 2 new ones. The new ones are in Utawala, the Utawala Naivas. I passed by there Friday, I told you, City.
And you told me that place
I decided, you know what?
Let me see this
Utawala thing. And one. So I decided, let me go to Eastern Bypass. Went to Eastern Bypass, went to Utawala, and I saw that Naivas. Huge. Huge. Drove on, went up to Kamakis, and I saw the Naivas at Kamakis. Huge. My friend, you walk in there, you shop, peace of mind, any time of day. There's ample parking, it's secure parking, it's well lit day and night, so you are feeling safe.
You know, one could argue it's long overdue. If you look at the population of Kenyans who live in those 2 areas, and there are many Kenyans. Yes.
Sana. Our next guest is in the studio. He's seated on the hot seat. Bishop Dr. David Makime is from the Jesus New Life Ministries, Jenelim Church. Bishop, karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the hot seat of the Situation Room.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Where is Jenelim Church?
This Jenelim is in a place we call Meble, that is in Ruiru. Exactly a place you call OJ. This is where people come for Nyama Choma there. So we're behind.
You're behind
Nyama
OJ.
Choma Center.
City tutaenda Ruiru.
No, sasa hiyo lazima
Membeli.
Na unajua hiyo Ruiru tu ni hapa tu.
You're most welcome.
Ruiru si mbali.
Tutapitia hii.
Hii ni South
Eastern Bypass.
Hii ni Eastern,
Actually, it's the one I've used.
Tufike Kamakis, tuvuke Thika Super Highway, tuingie hiyo pande nyingine. Tuende Membeli. Yes. Tuende tukaone. Karibu sana, Bishop.
Thank you so much.
CT will welcome you with the day's proverb. Before he does that, he'll tell you about home-based care. You know home-based care. When you hear home-based care, when it comes especially to healthcare, what do you understand?
I would wish to mention maybe when it comes to healthcare and home-based, I think there's something that should come to everybody that is breathing, that health begins also with you. It calls for all of us to handle and to take care even of the weak and the sick. From the perspective of where I'm sitting, I would say home-based care. We have seen the government bringing in or down some healthcare officials, maybe to advise doctors on what is happening in certain villages, guiding the villagers to say maybe on what precautions to take.
Yes.
Perhaps maybe I may be right, I may be...
Yes, those are called community health promoters.
Yes.
And you are in line with actually what we're talking about. City.
Yes.
Now advance the conversation.
Well, you know, one of the things that the Akan University Hospital have been trying to do is to try and ensure that the healthcare provision is as close as possible to those who might need it.
Right.
So in addition to having 53 outlets, this is what they're saying. If you need healthcare, you do not need to leave the comfort of your home.
Yes.
It can be brought to you.
Where you are.
The doctors can come and visit you. Yes. If you need nursing care, that can be provided for you.
Right.
Some of the care that ordinarily would be available in hospital can be available at your home. If there is testing required for forward movement to the laboratory, it can be done in your home.
Right.
And then the test results brought back to your home. Meaning, you do not need to leave your home in order to receive the quality healthcare that the Akan University Hospital offers.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Now, Bishop, listen to City give you the day's proverb. Every week he goes to one African country. He gets proverbs from that country.
Yes.
Then he brings a proverb a day. So your job is to listen to the proverb and give us your interpretation of the proverb. Your interpretation. Yeah, there is no wrong interpretation. It is your interpretation.
My interpretation.
What does the proverb say to you? This week, where are we sitting?
We're in the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. We, last week, this week, and the next week, we'll be looking at proverbs from countries that are in what we call the Maghreb area. Maghreb is derived from the Arabic word al-Maghrib, meaning the west. Now, Eric asked me on west from west. I said, well, it's west from what we call the Arab world, but it also means where the sun sets.
Yeah.
And so these countries are Morocco, Libya, Algeria, and so forth.
Right.
The proverb, patience is the key to paradise.
My interpretation.
Yes.
It's it's a very good proverb, because many people lose their paradise or golden opportunities because of impatience. And I would rather say that taking one step at a time towards the goal, towards your golden line that you're looking forward to get. I would say that patience, taking one step at a time, and cautiously, carefully, I'll get to my paradise. Is that right?
Believe me, if that is your interpretation, it can't be wrong. So to answer your question, yes, it is right.
It is right.
Yes.
The way I see it.
Yes, it is right. It is right.
Very good.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
Your perspective makes a lot of sense.
Right.
We're seeing what's happening in the country right now.
Right.
We are at a point where, we've been seeing governors and deputy governors getting impeached by county assemblies. Now the National Assembly is impeaching the deputy president. The matter is going to the Senate this week. Would you say that this proverb comes into play? Patience being the key to paradise.
I see it happening to both sides. Number one, I would say that should our deputy president be history, be in what we call ambitions of maybe looking at 2027 and trying to work on that game, I think he has started it too soon. Looking on the other side and basing on the priorities, and especially that touch the employer here, because the employer, I would say, is the citizen, the mwananchi. If the impeachment of the deputy president must be done, it has started too soon. That's my interpretation. Yes.
There should have been patience from both sides.
Both sides.
From both sides.
Both sides. And I think that's why you see the uproar and, let me call it outcry, from the point of Mwananchi. Because it's just the other day we employed these honorable employees, and we expected them to hit the ground running and bring to realities the promises they gave us. But now along the way, short time, we see now priorities of impeachment and even being full house. And when we want to see discussion on health and other things, we see like the house is quarterly attended or half attended. So my point is it is too soon. Yes.
People have said that the church let Kenyans down. The church was somewhat divided, and secondly, the church cast its die too openly. Especially with those that went with the Kenya Kwanza administration. That instead of the church sitting there and advising Kenyans and saying, let's pray for the right leader for our country, the church said, this is the right leader for our country. Let's pray for them to be elected. What do you say?
My friend, I think when we talk of church, that's a general term. Because I believe if you are not in the mosque, if you are not in any other shrine, you're also in church. So all of us could be in church. But I know where the point is targeting. Mostly is on the religious leaders and the direction givers. But I want to say this, being a church minister, it's very important to note that every person, either in leadership or in church, is a human being and is expecting to get the same benefit every other Kenyan is getting. I know it's wrong maybe to take sides according to the perception of people, especially when you talk of church and church leaders. But I want to say this. There's another mistake people have been making when they connect that with the church. And they think like, because the church may be mentioned and prayed for, I'm not talking only about this government. Because the church prayed, this is the government that God gave us.
Yes.
But sincerely speaking, God does not choose leaders for us. God may only listen to us as we pray. Because when it comes to elections and this political space and all this, the electorate must use their brains. And so when you say church, you may not know which side I was. But I want to say it is true. This time it was very open, very, very open. And both sides, when you talk of Kenya Kwanza, when you talk of the other side, the Azimio, we could see everybody, both sides were going to churches, they were prayed for, some even prophesied, you will be. So perhaps it could be a mistake to go that open. But I want to say where we are heading to, I think democratically, everybody, let's even talk about our young people. They are in church, they are everywhere, they are in their social setups, but they have started speaking their mind. Just like the church could say, this is the way we see it, if at all they said it publicly. So I don't see the church making a mistake. And I want to say something. Even God himself, and please mark my words, I'm not talking about this government only. Even God, when you go to the Bible, for Samuel, you discover one time God is the one who chose King Saul when people demanded the king. But do you remember him telling Samuel, I regret to have chosen
this particular
King
one?
Saul. Yes.
He did. But even before that, he had told Samuel to go and tell the people that this king you want, please let me explain to you the things that are going to happen to you.
Are you people sure?
Are you really absolutely sure? Because your young men are going to be in prison. All manner of terrible things will happen to you as a king. They told God, listen, God, on this one, let us advise you as we want a king.
Yes, simply because that was theocratic time and they refused that theocracy. They wanted democracy. They wanted to see, they wanted to touch, they wanted to feel everything.
They wanted to have a say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it.
But you see, when we talk about leadership from a Christian perspective, there are those who have the understanding that there is no leadership that exists without God's nod. That is me paraphrasing, meaning God allows it. Not that he goes and tells you, this is the person, but he allows it. So then comes the question, what is God's criteria for allowing the leadership? Because when we begin with the example that when we talk of Samuel, people demanded.
They demanded.
So if we use the same example as Kenyans demanded.
Yes.
And church people demanded. And when the presidency came into being, people prayed and said, God's will has been done. Okay. Here we are. Is God's will still being done?
I want to bring another question on that. If God loves us so much, why did he allow Satan to be hanging around to bother us all this? That's a question. It is the same God who loves his children. Do you know why?
Tell me.
It is because God puts humankind into a position of decision making. And that's why elections, we may pray, telling God we need change, we need this, but finally to go to the ballot, you must use your brain.
You must decide.
You must exercise that.
And that we're talking about free will.
The free will is there, and
Yes.
that's why in the Old Testament, if you go to the Bible, you see that he just told Adam and Eve his wish. They were left now either to obey
decide.
or to disobey. So that is the power of will. And let me tell you, my friend, when I look at the people I represent here, those who come to church, I think this is where we need to ask ourselves, because of that proverb. And I've said in the beginning, exactly what was the expectation of the Mwananchi. And this chaos now that you've started seeing, and everybody is saying this, okay, it may be heightened in some territories and regions. But I think we need to ask ourselves a few questions in this country, because days are still moving, people are suffering, and we are praying for them when they come to church. But when you find even assessing that political leader to listen to the cry of the Mwananchi, it is even actually turning more to the clergy, carrying some burdens. And you see the clergy, apart from maybe the offerings that may come or tithe, we don't have a share of the taxpayers' money. So we are saying, and that's why I'm saying here, when we look at the employment of this employee in the parliament, it is us, the citizens, that needed to employ somebody to work on our behalf. And can I also say we have a mistake, because we are taking too long before we adopt that this is not an MP, is an MNA, member of National Assembly. I want to mark those words, because when it is the National Assembly, it is the whole nation that ought to be there, including me and the lowest person there. But now, here comes the politician who asked for a job, and we give them a job. Although, and I need here to be bold and say, I think it's only a politician who has the room to get, not all, but some, to get employment by cheating the employer. And cautiously, I want to tell the members of National Assembly, why do I say cheating? They come and tell us, this is what I'll do, this is what I'll do for you, and everything is well planned. So as we go to vote, my friend, we go also with that mentality. The reason why I don't want to elect so and so, I want A and not C, is because I have listened to how this employee of mine will help my organization or my company.
Is that true, really?
See?
Is that the decision making that happens at the ballot?
No, I'm
by
saying,
many Kenyans, when they are going to that ballot, they are saying, I want to choose Peter and not Paul, because Peter has a clearer vision and is better placed to deliver on my needs. Are you sure that that's...
I'm sure from where I'm sitting. You know, I'm a religious leader. I'm in the church. What should I tell my people when they go to elections? Listen and get to survey this person. We want a result.
Sure,
actually,
that's what you tell them.
That's the way it should be.
But is that how we choose our leaders in this country?
Partly yes, partly no.
The 290 MPs who are representing constituencies in the National Assembly today, would you say that these ones were elected because they were the ones that convinced the people that they can deliver, and the people believed inside that this one has a clear vision?
Some did it. Some did it, but the majority was not a conviction of performance. That one I accept.
So that's where we should start.
We should
How do we choose our leaders? What determines our choice for a leader?
And that's very tricky to everybody in this country. Because I want to ask you this question. What will help me differentiate between electing my cousin, whether he is a performer or not, and if not to elect him, to go and elect somebody who is so many miles from my relationship? Look at the society. Actually, those are some of the determinants that, as much as we are looking at maybe they are not good, they are not this, some have been elected by closeness of this. But what you are saying is very true. We need civic education now to tell people, however this person may appear close to you, or what we want is the ultimate goal. Because it's not about the elections. Elections, that time is like a wedding. Marriage must exist. So if this wedding is so colorful and so good, what about the marriage itself? How shall it sail through? I think that is what we need to check. If I'm looking at this girl and I want to marry, yes, I can see the beauty. I can see whatever, if it's gentleman, I can see what I'm getting, the handout, paying fare for me and taking me to bash and all this. But how will the marriage be? The ultimate benefits. Yes.
So people here elect because mtu amekutumia fare.
Yeah. Kabisa. Sometimes.
Nakatuma maua. That's the guy that you will get married to.
Right.
Everything else does not matter. Let's take a break. We'll continue this conversation shortly at 9:30. Bishop Dr. Daniel Makime is our guest. David Makime is our guest. He's from the Jesus New Life Ministries, Jenalim Church. We are looking at our current state of politics, the ongoing impeachment conversation, the religious perspective of it. We'll be back shortly. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
There is nothing boring like slow internet. At home or on the go, reliable and fast internet speeds is a game changer. Safaricom Home Fiber is what you need. Safaricom has increased internet speeds at no extra cost. Tune into the Situation Room to learn more about Safaricom Home Fiber and stand the chance to win airtime.
SpiceFM, Malindi.
Hello, Mama Jaden. We need some things for the house and for cooking. Sugar,
it's actually
flour.
warming up now in Nairobi. It's 18 and getting sunny. It's also sunny in Kakamega, 23. Sunny in Mombasa, 28. It's also sunny in Malindi, 28. Kisumu, mostly sunny at 24. Highs of 30 later. Nakuru, sunny at 20. Nyeri, sunny at 18. Eldoret, sunny at 19. Johannesburg, sunny at 24. Kinshasa, mostly cloudy at 25. Also cloudy in Kampala at 23. Lagos is sunny at 25, sunny in Mogadishu at 30, Dar es Salaam mostly sunny at 27. It's still hazy in Addis Ababa at 17, also hazy in Beijing at 22, 11 and sunny in Paris, heavy rains in London at 10, partly cloudy in New York at 12, and it's gonna be rising to 18 later.
Save money on your rising electricity bill with StarTime Solar Home Solution. We offer a complete home and commercial energy saving system that includes solar panels with 15-year warranty, lithium battery with 10 years warranty, and an inverter with 5 years warranty. StarTime Solar Home Solution is efficient, reliable, and safe to power essential appliances, complete home lighting, refrigerators, air conditioners, washing machines, microwaves, iron box, instant shower, and entertainment devices, television, computers, Wi-Fi, and so much more. Say yes to reduced electricity bills and call us today on 0719 077 777 and get started on your green energy journey today. StarTime Solar. Power your life.
It's getting better. I think a superhighway is getting better. Now it's at Muthaiga, and then also Kiambu Road is also stretching only at Muthaiga. Muranga Road, the traffic is in Ngara. Kipande Road, as you approach the Globe Cinema roundabout, is also improving. On Mombasa Road, it's all clear. Only now on Uhuru Highway, as you get into town on Haile Selassie Avenue coming from Mombasa, and on the roundabouts, that's Nyayo Stadium, not Nyayo House roundabout and University Way roundabout. How's it looking like getting into Westlands? It's busy on Ring Road, Kileleshwa and Ring Road Westlands. It's also improving significantly. It has improved on Kiambu Road, on Jogoo Road rather, on Outer Ring Road, on North Airport Road. So the situation is getting better.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Bishop Dr. David Mekimei from the Jesus New Life Ministries is our guest this morning. We are talking about church as well. And Bishop, the Gen Z protests, one of the things that they pushed for was to deplatform the politicians in church. And because people felt that when they come to church, you're just giving them a platform to come and perpetuate lies, hatred and animosity, and not doing their work. Right now, in the middle of this, political issue of the deputy president and the president, there's been reports of the church and clergy attempting to mediate. And the reaction from the public has been, why would the church come in now? What's the church's role in this? The church has lost its mandate. The church has lost its moral high ground. What do you say to that?
That's a point that is very clear. And standing in here for the clergy, I can mention it and say that the moment we take sides, I'm saying I don't allow them on the pulpit personally. And maybe I don't have many who may desire to come where I am, maybe. But I think it's wrong, allowing them to interfere with the program. And I'll say it categorically. When the church members are coming to church, they are coming to seek God, they are coming to pour their hearts to God, and that is the way it should be. So in the middle of all this, and somebody comes and overrides and takes even more minutes than the preacher, to me I feel it's a disservice to this hungry soul that came. That's my take. And I also want to say I've been to churches, even ministering in other denominations, and I've seen them categorically. They don't let anybody, even if you are a member and you are a politician, and maybe you are even a church deacon or a church elder, you are only acknowledged to do what you are supposed to do in the church. So I would say on the other side, we have some that are there. But the question you're asking is pertinent and very important to say that in future, we need to be careful and we tread carefully to some of these things, because today it's true. Everybody, including those that feel this side is wrong, the other one says this side is right, everybody is confused, because it's like pastor told us this person was good. Now how can I believe him when he starts now showing me that we pray for this one now? Things are going bad. And we pray for this one, or we thank God for this one, things are going right. So the question is real. But let me say, because we also believe God, if the church made a mistake, there is a room for what we call forgiveness. And that now transitions even to the individuals that are in the leadership. Forgiveness is there. And I would say even right now between the president and the deputy president, we expected not maybe a long dialogue, but at least they sit and agree, because these things came to the Mwananchi. Sometimes it's like a shock. So people are wondering what has just happened. And one thing we can't judge now, you cannot have the right to judge the president, because the hardest thing to do is to fight a silent person. Somebody, when I'm silent, you cannot bring issues, you can tell me, until I speak. So that's what I'm saying. Can there be dialogue? I like what I heard the Archbishop of Anglican Church yesterday, sorry to mention him, but he said something very important. It's like mahali imefika, where it has reached now. It's about them. For us, we just pray because of the consequences of the outcomes. So my point here is, would have wished to see that. I'm saying, even if the church has no moral authority now, if that is what people may think, then can the individual surrender to the God they have spoken about and maybe bring things to the right? Because what we are seeing from where I'm sitting is that it's like we have gotten into a political wave, and I don't know until when, because when I see the deputy president is moving to every dimension of judiciary, so I don't think there's somebody who is ready to cool down even when impeached. That's my assessment. And all these politicians, the ground they thrive on, it is in the presence of the Mwananchi. And every one of them must try now to exonerate himself or herself. And the people must hear this. So we are going to have a lot of confusion, if I may say so. And that's my take.
You know, we have had this conversation before, even in the run-up to the election, City. And we're asking ourselves, if we look back at the trust that the people have on their religious leaders. Because this is a trust that's, given to their religious leaders. Give us guidance. Show us the true north. Always keep pointing us towards the true north, even when we are swayed by things out here. And it's like those who are supposed to be the guardians and, the guides to the true north have also just gotten into this whole mix. They're also just as confused as we are. Then where are we as a country? And that's why I said you come in.
Yes.
Because we asked ourselves, so who will lead us to the true north?
We do have an example. In this country, there was a time when we had a president who spoke about God with the same frequency as the current president, the deputies speak about God. But at that same time, there were many things happening in the country that you would have difficulties aligning them to somebody who claimed to know God personally. And people like the Bishop Okoh, people like Njoya, they actually spoke out clearly. Now, the argument has been in this dispensation that we have, which church men, which members of the clergy do we hear speaking out directly and saying, look, folks, this is wrong. This isn't right. We cannot accept that this is true. And you see, that brings me to the book of Galatians chapter 6, verse 7 and 8. He says, do not be deceived. God will not be mocked. And if I were to take that verse, then I would take the view that the division that we are seeing between the president and the deputy is you are calling on God's name, and then you have all these atrocities which are being associated with you. Surely. Then it gives a very different view of the God they claim to believe in. Because we say, God cannot be associated with certain things that we see, certain things that are in the public domain. Then the complaint is, but surely men of the cloth ought to be speaking against these things loudly. Now, in their silence, the strength and the power and the trust that was there has been depleted over time.
You could be right, but I want to tell you people that we have some. We have some, but they have no avenues to be had. And I want to be sincere on that, because it is the same Bible when you look at Ecclesiastes, that there is this man who was very wise and managed to rescue their small city from a very strong king. But after he saved the city, the Bible says nobody remembered him again. Nobody acknowledged him because he's poor. And I want to say, if you go to the social media, you will see those who can only find a platform on social media. Maybe he's not well known that you people can call him here to talk. There are people who are very serious about this. And I want you to know, and that's why we cannot categorize everybody to be a failed church leader. However, it may appear today that the church is unable maybe to speak loudly, and we are praying about it, but it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. The God we believe, who is able to restore, you are going to see that. And that's what I told you, that when you talk of church, even our young people are there. Like when they say they want to occupy, I was asking, church. I wish they come to our church, because they are the same people we want to guide and help them so that they see, the transition of whatever we are calling. But may I also say this, when I look at the issue, because about religious leaders, where else do everybody runs to when some things are so difficult? I saw another person saying, a church leader, and said, and I think I looked at him and I said, okay. He said, now you people, you go out, you spoil yourself, destroy yourself, you're drinking 50,000 beer. Then when you die, you want me to bury you free of charge. I looked at that and I said, sometimes we need to look at things from our perspective. That the church leader is expected to behave in a certain way.
Yes.
Do you know? I'll give an example. The other day, somebody was to give me money wrongly. Let me say, she had sent me the money through M-Pesa and forgot. And then, when we met after 2 months, she was busy in her handbag getting an envelope. It was an allowance that we were supposed to be given. I'll give an example. So, she's busy looking for the envelope, and it is
she
true.
can give you the money.
The envelope had the 5,000 that belonged to me. But I said, excuse me, madam. I went to my M-Pesa messages. I remembered the date. I showed her. She took it so lightly, but I could tell. It's because he's a bishop. He must be honest. Are you looking at that? But in the context of a human being, she should also see it, that this human being is honest. Are you getting that? Yesterday I was preaching about the donkey that carried Jesus. People did not, see it like some major deal, because donkeys are known to carry loads. But look at that, this donkey is special. Actually, it's carrying a very important person. So we may look at the donkey from the perspective of performance, responsibility, duty, and not as a person. So I want to say here, we have church leaders in their personality, in their own lives. They are serious. And I'm telling you, this country is loved by God because
do we have a critical mass of those straight church leaders. And I agree with you.
Yes.
There are church leaders who periodically speak. You've mentioned Archbishop Olesapit. He's even taken a point of saying and declaring that in the Anglican Church, we shall not take, harambe contributions from politicians unless you come with a check, no cash. So we can trace back to where your source of money is. We have such leaders, yes. But are they many? Even in the wake of what happened in Shakahola, for example, where the president formed a task force led by a clergyman, respected, Mutava Musiemi, and a report has come there and says, let us find a way of regulating religious organizations in this country. Church leaders out there saying you cannot control God. You cannot control God. And there's no other church leader who's coming out to say, no, we must regulate. Those that think that, yes, it needs to happen are quiet. It's a conspiracy of silence, Bishop.
Let me ask you a question, very important. When you talk of regulations, are you expecting the church where you also and your family go to worship to start being micromanaged? Because when you talk of regulations, we must look at the details.
Yes.
Would you like the same assembly to be micromanaged by the same authority or government that we are talking about today?
No, I want it to be micromanaged by law.
Are you expecting the Kenya National Union of Teachers to allow the government to regulate whatever? So I'm only giving an example. I know what you are talking about. In regulations, I think there are some things that are so vividly clear. Because for sure, when you bring in the issue of Shakahola, separate church leadership or clergy and the person who did that. And this is where we talk of systems and persons.
And that's what that report is proposing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That you create systems. But what you're hearing is an opposition to anything that touches it.
Not really.
Right?
Not really. That
when
one
they say you cannot touch the church,
that one
we are not going to. Those who believe that what happened in Shakahola, those who believe that there are preachers who come out to say that I can heal you, I can cure you of HIV, those who say bring all your sick and let's lock them up in a room here and they shall be healed. Those who don't see that is right, they don't speak out.
I want to say there is a confusion here. And I want you to understand me. Personally, I've been asking myself, this man in Shakahola, what is the law doing? Sigei taking through the process. Today, if another pastor rapes a girl, what is happening? The speed at which this pastor is hurdled, jailed, already prosecuted. We are asking ourselves also, do not talk of the church and Shakahola. This is a person with a failed mechanism, has done all this. We are saying simply, we have our umbrella bodies. We are going to look, and let me tell you, they are working, those umbrella bodies. Since the time of, I think, the Attorney General, I'm trying to
get the
Muga. When we started these umbrella bodies, they had to help us have churches, different denominations under one roof. And I'll tell you, the misbehaviors, if we are allowed now to mention, majority are not under such umbrellas, because when we are meeting as bishops, there are things that we are looking at. There are things we are agreeing upon. Yes, your church is named after this name, it is the other one, but remember, these are our objectives this is the way to go. There is still hope, my friend. You cannot condemn the church fully.
Actually, it isn't condemnation, Bishop. It is...
No, the way the public now looks at, and mostly the politicians who are...
But politicians consider the church as a direct challenge to the authority.
Yes.
Because they would like to do things in a certain way. And the public, us, we expect the church to stand up for us. Because one of the roles of the church is to stand up for those who are oppressed, to be the voice of those who are disadvantaged. That is a key role of the church. But what is now being brought to question is the term and the concept of self-regulation. You see, when you talk about something that began supposedly as a church and became a cult, okay? Self-regulation. Because the church welcomes church self-regulation. They say this can be done. But the self-regulation the church speak of, is it in the public domain? Do we know what it is that you use as the tenets for self-regulation? Are we informed, or do I need to be part of a particular church to be informed of what that church, like for instance, the church I go to, I'm aware of how they conduct their business. Why? Because I'm a member of that particular church.
Yeah.
The question that is being raised is one that must be taken with utmost seriousness, because the church cannot afford to fall into ill repute. The church cannot, and I mean the umbrella, not one particular church. The church cannot afford to be considered not to be the one voice of reason in a country such as ours. Because if that happens, the gap that the church leaves is too profound to even imagine. Because who then will stand in that gap? We then have this assembly of people whom we are elected running amok. Yes, I finished what I'm saying.
I can feel it. I can feel it. And my friend has said very well. He knows, you are where you go, that assembly, because you are a member. Just like you know your family because you are a member of that family, and I know very little about you. But let me, because I don't know, time may not be so much on our side. I want to say this. Can we say we are all in church? And I said, if you are not in a mosque, you're in a church. Can we ask ourselves then, if I'm silent today, what should be said and what should be done?
Yep.
The blame should not be entirely to the church, because like now, there are things I'm saying.
Who should we blame instead of the church? When the functions that we're talking about are functions that the church must perform, who should we blame?
We blame all ourselves. Just like, let me say, we are talking of elections here. People use their brains wrongly. Then we want to blame a certain dimension.
Actually, we must, Bishop,
So
because when you speak...
I'm accepting the point that there are people to blame.
When you speak, Bishop,
Yeah.
believe me, you speak on behalf of very many people.
Yes.
And they believe what you say, and it represents them fully. See, that really is the point. In fact, it represents them more than even the member of parliament can represent them.
Are you expecting me to come here and say the church has totally failed?
I'm coming here to expecting you to say the church has failed in certain aspects.
Yes.
Yes.
But I'm saying this.
Yes.
The same church.
Yes.
We are running to cry unto God. You and I.
Yes.
Because you must believe my point. You must differentiate between the systems and the personalities. Now look at this. By the way, when we were doing literature, you did the animal farm.
I did literature, I even taught it.
Yes, the animal farm. When you look at the seven commandments, I want you to base on that somehow. And there are so many commandments, but the one that they really emphasized, and we know who emphasized, is that all animals are equal, but more are equal than others. But if you look at their rule number 3, I think it's number 2, they say that creatures with 4 legs and 2 wings are our friends. But creatures with 2 legs are our enemies. Because I don't want us to forget where we were. We're talking about this governance and all this. Do you know, today the 4 legs can be the 4 wheels and the wings can be the choppers. and the two legs.
The bishop has gone to the book of Ezekiel. But go on.
Walking on
Yes.
feet. And coming to commandment number 7, that all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. I want to state to everybody in the leadership, and especially the governance of this country, can you please come to terms with the realities? We expect you to do the work we gave you. I've been